Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
G'day and welcome to another edition of Send It Mate Podcasts. I'm Caleb.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
Wow. The enthusiasm.
You hesitated, mate. Did you forget your name?
You're looking at me like, do we need cues? Do we
Nah,
need like a
because
prompter?
I thought you started to speak.
Nah. It's always Caleb, then you, then me. We can get a teleprompter to cue you so you don't forget your name.
Alphabetical order, Josh.
Maybe we should actually, but that's all right.
And I'm Tits McGee.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
It is actually.
It is. I haven't seen the second one to this day.
Oh, the second one's like take everything to the next level. It's not as good as the first.
Yeah.
But they definitely like they take the piss so good.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's on par with Step Brothers though.
But he would.
first one.
Will Farrell actually said he'd never do Step Brothers 2 because it'll just won't be as good as the first.
Yeah, you can't do
Yeah.
another Step Brothers.
You can't.
Yeah.
He's wording his horse shit. Oh fuck! I love that.
Oh, it's my favourite comedy. For sure.
Oh fuck! He's good. I just want to point out we're actually basking in Ryan's fucking filth right now. Still, I can still smell it.
Can you? I can't.
It is disgusting.
Do we really need to tell people?
Well, we do.
But do we though?
Well, for those playing at home, I took a shit and it's wafting. So
it's wafting.
that's what he means by basking. It's not
Bam.
like you're not basking in my ambiance.
Yeah, basking would indicate that we're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not. We're gassed out.
We're suffering through Ryan's fucking shit.
I swear you didn't wipe properly, man.
No, it was liquid, so it wasn't hard to clean up.
And then like 5 minutes ago, it was a 40 wiper. Anyway, moving on. What do we got this week, Mr. Caleb?
Well, we've got a guest.
Oh, we do.
He's been sitting here very fucking patiently.
He has. He's champing at the bit. He
Do you
wants
know
to
what?
say something.
Let's
He's not
talk
used
for
to
half
shutting
an
the fuck
hour
up.
before we introduce him. Let's do that.
Let's mute him and make him sit there like a pleb.
It's no different what I've been doing the last few minutes.
Wait, you fucking turn. The teleprompter said fucking wait.
Didn't say you could speak, mate. What are you doing?
Mute button.
Existing.
Anyway, no, we'll introduce him. We've got Hayden, one of our mates.
Hey, doll.
Yo,
guys.
gee.
We've got him on the podcast. He's we'll hear a unique perspective tonight because he's a recent shooter. He's not new. He's not brand new. He's
been out of the game for a few years, so let's let him answer.
He's a relatively new shooter.
Well, I'm not barrel aged yet, but getting some time behind a barrel.
That's true.
So you're like a cheap port.
Yeah. Good old Renmano Premium. That's me.
Ain't no Galway pipe.
He's taking to it like a duck to water. So it's worthwhile hearing his perspective and getting to know him. And yeah, he's a mate of ours. He comes out, and those who follow us on social media would have seen him on our Instagram. And
we've spoken about him many times
We
on the
have.
podcast.
Yeah.
usually
Many shout outs.
usually referred to as Hey Dog. So
Usually talking shit and commenting shit, but that's me.
He's our number one fan that sends us all the emails.
No, he sends us all the shit we're doing wrong. He's like the Karen that's fucking nah.
Look, someone's got to say it. Like you get everyone back, and you're telling you exactly how good things are. But I'll tell you both ends.
We don't even open your emails anymore. They just get filed.
Funny enough, I haven't sent one in a little while, but I've got a list there on a piece of cardboard of all the things from about 8 weeks ago that I got to call you out on. So that'll be a big email.
Yeah, can you send us your cardboard piece? Because
Yeah,
we might address them.
Should have brought it tonight. That would have been a perfect opportunity.
actually, you should have just brought up all the things that Ryan's promised and never delivered on.
I do that all the time.
Look, season 1, episode 1. Where's the muzzle brake?
Yeah, man. My wife says that to me all the time. She says, "You promised," and I'm like, "Well,
Where is the muzzle brake, Ryan?
I thought you meant it needs a muzzle brake.
my wife."
We're trying to go for a bit of extra length.
Yeah, a few more inches.
Extra ports, just sending semen sideways.
There's an attachment for that.
Well, we did cover this actually on birth control for Aboriginals a few podcasts ago.
I'm sorry, what?
You said ports, and I told you the story about how they do their contraception. They actually pierce the base of their penis with like a hot rod or something like that.
I do not remember
Are
this
you
conversation.
confusing
And
a
then-
private conversation with something that was said on the podcast? Because
No,
this was not.
I'm pretty sure I did. And
this
then-
was not aired.
And then they basically put a nut in there when they want to conceive. So the idea is when they ejaculate, it comes out the hole at the base of their penis, and then when they do, they just put like a little gum nut in there.
Oh, actually, no, you did.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yes.
Hey, hang on. I mean, I was probably drunk at
We're
the time.
talking about
to be honest.
vasectomies, and you did mention that. Actually, you're correct. Yeah.
So they pierce
The base
the base,
underneath
right?
of the dick.
Yep.
It's like a Prince Alfred, but lower.
Yeah, I get that. But then, what were you saying about the nut?
So the whole idea is because the hole's there, when they ejaculate, it dribbles out of the hole and doesn't go into the vagina. But then when they do want to conceive, they put a nut there. This is a very, very old tradition of the Aboriginals. But yeah, they put a nut in there, and they'd obviously close up the hole at the base of the penis.
I
and
mean,
then,
yeah, I was going to say, it can't be.
Path of least resistance. So if there's a hole here and it's going to come out there.
Yeah, no,
they
that
put a
makes
gum nut
sense.
in it.
But it wouldn't stop all of it from coming out unless it's you talking
I never
about-
said it was a foolproof way of
No, that just sounds like
contraception.
someone
But-
mutilating themselves for no reason. But also, when you piss, it'd come out there as well, depending on how far back you go.
Well, look, I don't know how it works, like all the intricacies, man, but I presume you're probably right.
Well, when the boy loves himself very much, he makes himself feel very good, and it comes out the same hole that he wheezed from.
I feel like I need to research this, and I don't
Yeah, I
want
don't-
to, but I feel obliged to now because
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't sound plausible.
come from the dictionary of Josh, and
It's questionable.
Look, it's definitely third-hand information, but
Sounds like sixth-hand generation.
how did we descend into mutilating your cock?
We're just talking about people putting gum nuts in the holes that they put in their dicks. It's yeah.
I don't know, man. But let's move on to our guest because he's sitting here going, "What the fuck are these clowns
We
on
should
about?"
probably make it about Hayden, not about us
Gum nuts.
indulging in weirdness.
Oh, look, I'm used to us going off on tangents, so it's nothing abnormal.
There will be a few tangents tonight.
Of
yes,
course, of course. Well, feel free to go on whatever tangent you feel like. But for now, I think we'll get into the questions.
And the first question is, what is your preferred option for contraception?
All right, you love this. So it is nut in the Buddha, not in the cooter.
What was that? Nothing in the Buddha, not the
I
cooter.
don't feel like that's child friendly. That might have to be edited out, man. 'cause
gum-
we're an educational podcast, so
Gum nut or
yeah, he's a gum nut.
he puts a gum nut in the.
Yeah, he's straight up the Jap's eye. It's better than the knife you were talking about the other week.
Hey, that's a good idea. Why don't they just put a gum nut in their jap eye?
Because then they'll shoot it out.
Projectile.
If you build
Oh,
up
they
enough,
did
man,
invent
that
guns.
is like a firearm. That'll be classified. SAPOL will fucking classify that as a firearm. trust
Yeah,
me.
man. Because you can hunt roos with that. You know, just don't come for like 3 weeks.
But they're allowed
Build
to.
that fucking power up.
They're allowed to, so that's fine.
Who is?
Hunt roos
Who is?
without permit.
Who is?
The
Aboriginal
Indigenous.
people.
Okay, I was talking about SAPOL, but anyway.
So how do you? So How do you prove that though? Like, do you just go out and shoot a couple, throw them in the back of the ute, and then get pulled up on the highway? Like, no, my mate shot him, and he's Indigenous, so we're all sweet, Mr. Officer.
I don't know the ins and outs, but I do know in Arnhem Land in Darwin, you have to get permission from the local tribe to hunt there. So and whether that includes native animals, I don't know. We're definitely not allowed to hunt turtles where they are.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's with
specific
permission.
to a certain place and time, and like there's no blanket. Like if you are, surely I'm guessing here because I don't fucking know, but surely you can't just be an Aboriginal from wherever to whatever degree.
If you're Indigenous, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to just go out and hunt them.
So if say you lived in Adelaide your entire life and you're 1/16th Indigenous and you go to Arnhem Land, you're allowed to.
Well,
Just automatically?
I don't think that's how I don't know how it goes with the tribal aspect of things, but yeah, if you're from Adelaide and you want to go out, like I don't know, into the north of South Australia, yeah, they're allowed to hunt.
I reckon you'd have to be
on certain
in
blocks.
Whatever Indigenous tribe is local to that area where the turtles are. I don't think you can be.
I don't think so because they're nomadic people. So
yeah, but they have tribes all around Australia.
They do, but they're all nomadic people, so that they would move. So I think they'd argue that fact.
I think we're speaking of things that we know fucking nothing about.
What I can tell you is we've been out in a national park before, and I've had a mate that is Indigenous, identifies as, and is heavily involved in his tribe. And we had a park ranger come out.
Hang on, he is or he identifies as?
No, he is.
That's the definition. No, that's the definition of
these
being
days.
Indigenous.
It's so you can be Indigenous but not identify with and keep up to date with it. So it's quite different with the
so non-practicing.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
The legal definition of Indigenous is whether you're accepted by the clan and you identify as Indigenous.
I do
There is
believe
no line. Like, you could be like 7th or 8th generation that hasn't had Indigenous blood introduced to the line, and if you still identify as and are accepted by the clan, you are classed as Indigenous.
I've heard of elders
can say that you're Indigenous. I should say, not classed.
I've heard of elders accepting like white people into the tribe.
Yeah,
regardless.
it's all in regards to how they're participating in their clans. But we're out in a national park where you should have been paying for a permit. We had a ranger come up one weekend, ask us where our permit was, and my Indigenous friend pretty much claimed land rights, and the ranger left. There was multiple vehicles out there. He could have taken plates, could have done anything, but he claimed land rights and had some choice words with him, and he left. He wasn't going to touch that one.
That's probably a smart option.
Also, to clarify, so under the National Parks and Wildlife Act of 1972, Aboriginal people are not required to hold a hunting permit if they're hunting an animal that will be used as food for the hunter or his or her dependents, or solely for cultural purposes of Aboriginal origin. So they can
hunt
carte
anything.
blanche to do what they want.
And that's in South Australia. That means they can basically do whatever they want.
Yeah. I thought as much, but I didn't think it would be. Once again, I'm only speculating, but I don't think it would just be limited to SA. I think because they're nomadic people would be.
Yeah, I mean, we're only speaking locally, but they do they can't hunt protected animals, and they cannot sell the animal if they hunting it.
I actually follow a couple of lads, Boer brothers in the Northern Territory, and they fucking get amongst it, eh? They're like pretty much just barra fishing and hunting pigs, pretty much 24/7. And man, some of the barra they catch and some of the pigs they fucking stick. Oh, it looks like a good life.
Anyway, well, how about we get to know the man sitting at the table with us here instead of talking of things we don't know. All right, Hayden, where are you from?
Born and raised in the States, mid-north. So born in Gawler, raised in Balloch. Oh, sorry. I'll use the full lingo. So
Fuck, do you know what, man? Every time that I speak to you about where you've been, you use fucking... Do you know, I only just figured out yesterday that Muzzabiza means Murray Bridge.
Oh, Jesus. Ryan,
I was like...
you've been living under a rock?
So is this your third day on the planet then? Like,
It makes sense. And I was like, oh, fuck, I must be around Murray Bridge somewhere that fucking, because I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then yesterday I was like, fuck me, it's Murray Bridge. Yeah.
So if that's mind-blowing, just for your own brain... If you're playing at home. So Port Augusta is actually Port Augusta as well. Just for you.
No shit.
Well, so was Mazabizza, but yeah.
No, I just never. I literally never heard of Murray Bridge referred to as Muzabizza until you said it.
Yeah, you got the Mazabizza and you also got the bridge. They're the comment.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to be like, what does that mean? Because then you'd hate shit on me. So I thought I'd wait to the podcast.
Just
and
wait
everyone
to
can
the
see it.
podcast
just
to
fucking
everyone.
tell everyone.
Just
yeah.
tell everyone in Australia and around the world.
Ah, that's cool.
Oh,
I'm just being my best me, man.
oh.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. Well, that's. I don't know if that's an interesting answer or not, but
Oh, look, I moved around a bit. If you got all our houses together, you'd have a suburb. That's for sure. Lived everywhere we moved from Ballock. We moved around Ballock about 3-4 times and then moved to McDonald Park, so just past Davern Park, but without getting stabbed in that area because, you needed a bit of money to afford to live there. Then we went to One Tree Hill, moved around Salisbury, now I'm in Kilburn.
there you go.
Oh, now you're in kill. I thought you said now I've killed one.
Yeah, killed one.
Oh, what?
Yeah, sure did.
Kill one.
You got your headphones in the right ears again. All right.
Yeah.
What's your favourite food?
Hard one, probably pizza.
Pizza over venison.
Oh, look, you can make a venison pizza.
Oh, that's
like,
very true.
That's true.
So is that like pizza in general, or is there a favourite?
Oh, look, as long as it's got some dough, some sauce, and some cheese,
Venison has to.
got a good recipe to make a pizza.
How do you go about that with your
Diabetes.
So
diabetes?
pretty easily, you get the needle, you stick it in, you eat what you want. It's just not real difficult. It's kind of like being a crackhead in Davern Park. They stick the needle in and then they do what they want.
Wow.
And they pick up a check every fucking Wednesday.
Yeah, but it's only 9 sleeps till Christmas, so they're all good.
Did you ask Hayden if he was okay with speaking about his disability on the podcast or not?
No, it's fine. It's fine because people need to know that their abled and disablements don't stop them from doing things they want to do because it doesn't stop me from hunting.
There you go.
That's
that
true.
one backfired, didn't it, Caleb?
No, because he almost died.
No,
A couple times now.
no, there's a funny story behind that. That pump, I had an insulin pump and that had issues. And since then I've been given a new pump and that's now been recalled because I've had consistent issues with the pumps. So
Fucking hell.
I'm kind of glad because it means it wasn't my fault. Where I partially felt I was at fault with it because it could have been a few diagnostics I did myself when I was out there. But pumps were now being recalled. So
Can you tell? Are you having the right to tell the story of what happened with your pump?
yeah, that's fine. So I was out hunting on another mate Hainesy's property. We were out there for 3 days. We did probably 70, 75 Ks worth of walking through his property, and my blood sugar was sitting quite high, kept getting higher, wouldn't come down. Came home and kind of passed out in my bed eating dinner. Woke up the next morning, was throwing up, couldn't function, couldn't think. Ended up ringing my mum. She came pick me up, and then I went to leave to go to the hospital. Walked out the front door just in my jocks. I didn't grab my keys, didn't grab anything because my brain was just fritzed. You can't think. If you don't have sugar in your system, your brain pretty much switches off.
Yeah, wow.
Your body eats away at itself because you go into what's called diabetic ketoacidosis, and your body literally just eats at its own cells, trying to break down the body to make sugar so the brain can function. So it's pretty aggressive.
And had you pulled up fine, obviously.
I was at a hospital a day later, had a nice overnighter, had needles going in both arms, pumping me full of a bunch of fluids, and I was right around in a few hours.
Any sponge baths?
Unfortunately, no. But it wasn't a bad thing because last time I was in hospital, there were some quite cute nurses, and this time they were all just,
Diesel dogs.
Not cute noses.
Diesel dogs.
What?
Chicks that want to be trucks.
No, look, I would have said head.
Did you say diesel dogs or diesel dykes?
Diesel dot. Hang on. Chicks that want to be trucks.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Can you elaborate?
Oh, chicks that are not.
I mean, I understand the context that we're talking about, but I don't understand because I've seen some pretty fucking sexy Macs. So
I don't know, but they're the size of one, and their voice is that deep that it sounds like a Mack truck starting in the morning.
Yeah, bloody hell, man. And that wasn't the first time you've had a bit of a drama with it as well, isn't it?
Oh, look, I've had a few lows here and there, but that's been the worst so far. But it was probably amplified by the hydration that had been consumed during the weekend as well. But
How many cartons and bottles and...
I think we had 5 over 3 days.
Yeah, fair.
but that's like because you've never slowed down either. Like you certainly keep up with me whenever we're on the piss, and I'm always like, I mean, that's not that hard, really. Yeah, like you said.
Well, no, you've got an ability to drink a lot in a short amount of time before you just drop.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like either 100 miles an hour or nothing. There's no in between.
And it's like in an hour and a half's time and 2 bottles later, you're done.
Yeah, but I'm always conscious of like you with your diabetes and out and hunting and when we're like around the campfire and that sort of thing. So
it's simple. I take some protein bars, some muesli bars usually in my pack, except when we have a spontaneous hunt where Ryan just starts sprinting after deer and there's no time to put a pack on, then it kind of gets forgot about.
Oh, that was the last hunt we were on, and we saw a deer out. Like, we were driving along the road. We're coming back from town, picking up supplies. We're driving along, and then I saw a deer just on the side of a hill, about 50 meters from the road.
On the property.
On the property. It was like
it was inland we could hunt.
Inland we were allowed to hunt. Yeah. I've literally hit the fucking skids, pulled over the side, and he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "There's a fucking deer over there." So it was like rifles, binos, fucking go. And about 3 hours later, after like running around, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't feel that good, eh?" I'm like,
yeah, Ryan's limping along with his bung leg, and then I'm like, "Yeah, I could do with some sugar." So
I'd say put some jelly beans in your pocket, but they're going to rattle and make so much noise, aren't they?
Well, usually I've got some protein bars down the back of my bino pouch, but because I'd have my pack all the rest of the weekend, I had them in the side pockets that go around my waistband. So I still had lollies in there, I had food in there. So I kind of thought it was just going to be, we jump in the paddock, we go over the next ridge and then shoot it. But as per always with deer hunting, it's just over the next ridge, and then it's just over the next ridge. And before you know it, you're 4 paddocks in, a few Ks from the car, and then we got Ryan with you. So as soon as there's deer, it's not a methodical, take it slow and get ready. It's like we got a beeline for that deer at 100 miles an hour. So then you've run 3 Ks as well. So it's...
Oh, you got to keep up, mate.
Please, this weekend, can you try and actually shoot some deer? Because I need to meet deer, if that's all right.
No, we had opportunities to shoot, but as soon as we were ready, they got a whiff of us. Like I run after deer when they've either seen us and are spooked, or I know that they're over the next ridge. In which case, I run to the ridge and then slow down.
Yeah, look,
being facetious.
We should have been able to get one last time that we were out rather, and Ryan was in position probably 10, 15 metres in front of me. I pulled out the LRF. I thought he was going to shoot, but he's waiting on me, and then I pulled up my binos and realised there was a second one back in the shadow. So he was waiting on me to advance so we could get a cohort and shoot both. But I hadn't realised that till too late, and we were on the very end of a knob of trees, and the wind was going straight behind our back, beelining towards those deer. So in the meantime, me trying to crawl up forward with my rifle, they've just looked straight up at us. There's no way they would have seen or heard us because they were probably at 275 out. And yeah, they've just piss bolted and just done a giant arc straight back into the high fence.
Yeah.
And we could I could watch them because we were on like the top of a rise looking sort of down, and I watched them in my scope for at least a couple of minutes, just piss bolting.
Feel like one of you should have just shot one.
No, it was
too
look,
far
realistically,
away.
In hindsight's a wonderful thing. If we knew that they were going to spook from our win, Ryan could have very easily dropped one of them.
Yeah.
But in saying that, if we were both side by side, my 308 got doped for, that would have been no worries shot all day of the week to drop one of them as well. It's just I didn't realise there was 2 there because there was one that was clearly out in the sunlight feeding, which is I thought that was just the one. But then there was another probably 5-10 metres back from it in the shadows, which was almost completely blacked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are deer, by the way, that I ran after.
Yeah, these are the ones he sprinted after in the need defence, which was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
They bolted and you took chase.
Took chase. And I had him, except for that fucking fence.
He never had them. I watched.
I keep telling myself that, but I never had him.
I watched them run through between like two knobs of trees, well out to my left, and he's just beeline dead straight in front of me, and then jumped over the fence for whatever reason to be in the next paddock, and then run down there, and that's the fence that he ended up running into when his knee gave out. Which, as much as I want to say that I felt sorry for him, I was standing back a few hundred metres just pissing myself laughing. Because I watched him, he stepped back about 4 steps to do a running jump, even though there's a perfectly functioning gate right next to him. Like,
it's
not
mate. It's
not like it was
efficiencies.
a long walk away. It would have been within 3 metres where he decided to jump this fence, and he's just run into it full pelt with his knee into the timber. It was gold.
Oh, fuck, look at this.
I thought you had an ankle bracelet on then. It's your boot.
This is a
Converse All Star, as you probably don't know because you're not fucking fashionable. So.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Settle down.
They make your feet look really girly.
No, I just have girly feet.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let's move on to question 3. So, Hayden, what was your first job?
My first job, that was... Settle down, mate. My first job was working at Just Wrecking Toyota. So I started there just as a yard hand. So I was sweeping. I'd move car parts around the yard. I'd do just the basic things of a yard hand. And then before I knew it, I had a T-shirt thrown at my face and got told to join the team as a wrecker. So as cars would come in the yard, I would pull them down, pull the parts off of them, label them, move them around the yard, get the next car in and do that. And then that's what led me into my certificate at TAFE. Because I didn't do mechanical apprenticeship. I had my TAFE paid for by my boss. So it was kind of a workaround to getting mechanical accreditation without having to do a 4-year apprenticeship.
Oh, that's all right.
There you go.
So was that through RPL?
RPL, no, because I had no previous experience. I was a
So you did like the whole TAFE course. You didn't have like
I did the full TAFE course. I was a 13 and 14-year-old running around a wrecker's yard with a rattle gun, a bunch of horny energy, and a flathead screwdriver, just ripping cars apart.
A bunch of
Hang on, what?
energy.
That's a pretty good job.
So how? Because I've just assumed that you did an apprenticeship. I didn't even know that about you. So because you went on to work as a mechanic.
So I did a bit of work with Ultratune, and that kind of didn't go great because I ended up smashing my finger, like not lightly smashing my finger. I completely degloved the end of my finger and ripped my fingernail out of it, adjusting brakes on a Ford Territory, which was not a pleasant experience.
Fucking Fords.
And then from there, I quickly realised that with Holden shutting, they were dropping the pay of mechanics, and it wasn't a long-term career that I'd want to stay a part of, because I could see it phasing out very quickly with electric vehicles coming in, and knowing that they wouldn't allow mechanics to work on electric vehicles. So then the default there was just to get into electrical. So I've just completed my electrical apprenticeship, but now that I've got the dual trade certificates, I can work on electric vehicles as well.
Yeah,
So
nice.
The future, Josh.
Are you serious, mate? New South Wales can't even fucking create enough fucking power to run their fucking state, mate, let alone fucking changing over to electric vehicles.
Neither can we.
Say
Yeah,
fucking,
neither can we.
Say fucking again.
Nah, I'm just proving a point.
It's the future. Electric cars.
It's not.
no, it's a fucking canal.
Not unless we go nuclear and then build a canal.
Yeah, build a canal through the middle of
build
middle of
a
Australia, and then
nuclear canal.
you can put a whole bunch of hydraulic turbines in, and then we'll be having all the free energy we want. Get a traffic up the guts, and we can fish for barra everywhere. Hindsight.
And then the hunting opportunities that would open up along the green zone of this canal. would
Except
be-
we only
Well,
have
the only
power
thing is-
for 2 months of the year when the monsoon rains come. And
The issue with that though is if we put a canal through the middle of Australia, where I'm guessing you'd probably want to put your nuclear reactor, then where are we putting with the nuclear reactor?
No, just put it in Portugal.
Portugal? All right.
Portugal's already nuclear.
I was
though.
going to say, got all the uranium there, so
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, let's not reignite the canal debate. Hayden, if you could trade places with anyone in the world, who would that be?
that's big.
That's what she said.
Well played, sir.
Josh,
I kind
do
of
you want
forgot
one of
that
these?
question.
You can have one.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Good joke.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Probably Cameron Haynes. Like, I wish that I had the ability to use a bow like that, man. Like I could shoot a bow to about 20 meters, all right, and then from there it's a bit of a mess, and I'm sending a $25 carbon arrow into a bush or into a rock every other shot, whereas that man, like 180 meters, and he's grouping better than Ryan can with a rifle. So
Burn.
It's not bad if it's true, man. That's
He's definitely got a unique work ethic, doesn't he? He's like 9 to 5 job and then does whatever he does on top of it, you know, just non-stop, man, and holds a family and a wife and kids and that.
yeah, it's a good way to live because he's got that perfect balance between work style and lifestyle. But then, yeah, he also immerses himself in the hunter community.
Which is
Required.
applaudable.
It's required, isn't it? It is a necessary thing to do. Very good. That's a good answer. I think we've had about 3 people say Cam Haynes, so he's a popular answer to that question, actually. So, question 5: do you have kids?
None of my own.
Not that you know of.
No, not that I know of. None of my own. My partner has got 2 kids.
Oh, there you go. Very nice. And of course, you've got a fur baby. You can speak of him.
Oh yeah, I got my Ollie dog. He's pretty cool. He's not the hunting dog that he could have been, because I didn't take him out when he was young, because I wasn't into shooting and hunting back then. So he gets a bit confused. I'll quite often shoot ducks on our property in our dam, and he will happily swim out and look at them and then look back at me and go, yep, it's dead, and then swim all the way back to me and then sit at my feet going like, I did good. It's like, go get the duck. And then he'll swim back out there and he'll look at it again and then, yep, it's dead, and then swim back to me. And that's about the extent of him. So, yeah, I've now got a kayak out of our dam because, yeah, my Kelpie will swim out there and not grab the duck for me.
So get the leash and then paddle out there with the kayak until you get to the duck, and then just like basically put the duck in his mouth and train it.
So when I paddle out there in the kayak, he'll swim the whole way back to the duck and he just looks at it. Like he just doesn't,
you got to get a dog that knows what he's doing to show him how to do it.
He just doesn't know what to do at the final moment. Like he'll get out there and he knows that, all right, like the whole idea is we were here for this, but you've got it. So what do you want me to do with it?
Sounds like Caleb's sex life.
I'm glad you have been paying so much attention to what he does.
Well, you like a peeping Tom at his window or something.
Yeah.
No,
He keeps saying enough. Caleb's a sex pest, but he's the one that's behind the
So
window.
who's swimming out in the middle of the lake to look at my dick?
Swooning.
I don't. You had one good joke, all right, Josh. Don't try too hard.
Settle down.
So for those who don't know, what sort of a dog is he?
So he's a Kelpie cross border collie, but he's about 90% Kelpie with just a hint of border collie in him. So he's got the ability to chase lights and laser pointers if you so desire with that. But yeah, the rest of him, he's a
fair bit of energy.
He's a pretty solid Kelpie, but his diet consists of 90% venison and 10% biscuits these days. So he's just built like a brick shithouse.
He's a sleek dog.
He's got this uncanny ability. It doesn't matter if you're male or female and what height you are, he will always hit you in the wrong spot in the crotch when he comes to greet you every time.
It's definitely a dick puncher.
Yeah.
That's the title of Josh's sex tape, actually.
I'm hanging out with Dick Puncher too.
Yeah, there you go, Josh.
He's a good dog, man. I miss him. I haven't seen him for years.
Yeah, he's pretty good,
2
but
years.
He's a good looking dog.
I have been looking at getting him a companion dog.
Don't do it. That's what the dog has you for, companion.
Well, no,
What
because
do you mean?
Well,
No, as in Josh, why would you not want to get a friend?
Then you got to fucking deal with 2 dogs.
nah, just hear me out. So I've been looking at a German short-haired pointer because I want to train it from a very young age. Like the first time I get it, I'll be taking it hunting with me. I'll start it off around the 22 just so I can get used to like a quiet gunshot, then go to my 223, and then eventually move up to the 308 with the break. But the idea is I want to use that as a both duck and deer hunting dog because it'd be amazing because a friend of mine has got one and it's a wicked tracker and yeah, they'll point straight at them. It's obviously it's in the name pointer, but yeah, they will literally sit there and just point straight at where the deer are.
Yeah.
Maybe you can teach your dog how to fetch duck.
No, he's just not sure. He's a Kelpie. Look, you put him around the sheep, different story. He knows exactly what he's doing there. Same with Ruse. Like he's bailed up Ruse with my other Kelpie as well. But yeah, doesn't know what he's doing around duck, and I wouldn't risk it with deer because he's a barker. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind giving a Vizsla a go, actually. If I was going to get a hunting dog, I'd Hungarian
what?
Vizsla. Hungarian Vizsla.
Yeah, they're good dogs.
They're good dogs.
I don't even know what that is.
Friends of ours have got one. It's never going to go hunting in its life, but yeah, $5,000. So
Fuck, dogs are expensive now, hey?
They are.
well, a
Thoroughbred.
pointer here in
dogs.
SA, you're looking around $3,000 if you can get one. But then Eastern states, you're looking at $1,500 to $2,000 for either male or female, and that's with paperwork. So I would definitely be looking to. I'll probably go on a trip Eastern states, go a bit of forward driving and whatnot, and then pick the dog up while I'm there if that's the path I go.
You're right, though. It's getting ridiculous. We were at the pub the other day and this fella was sitting outside with his pup and it was a staffy. And I asked him because it was a gorgeous staffy. I'm like, oh, where'd you get your dog, blah, blah, blah. And he said, New South, $3,000. I'm like, are you serious, mate? Oh, bloody hell.
Mate, I got both my mini Foxy Cross Chihuahuas for under $300
For free. Because
So you realise because they're under 20 kilos that they're considered cats, yeah?
No, they're rats, man.
Rats,
They
yeah.
are rats. Someone should have paid you to take them off their hands.
Do you know what? Floyd would make a good foxhole dog. I reckon he's staunched, but Kalua's just a should be a rat.
No, I reckon you
can't
just
see that.
I reckon you just run and leap with Caleb's wiener and shove that down a hole. She'll be able to flush some rabbits out with that.
Hey, you don't talk about
no
my
way, that
being
rabbit's
shoved
going
down
to
a hole,
kick
mate.
that dog and break its back in half, mate. The thing just looks...
It's
Wrong.
disproportionate, isn't it? Like it just
Yeah.
it's
It looks
comical.
cruel.
It looks like someone was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, let's make a jug and make it the puppy breed," and then there's like this long body with tiny little legs,
You know how they do it in Africa with like the circles
the
around
nuts
their
and the
neck?
penis.
No, the circles around their neck and it makes their neck longer.
The ring.
It's like someone, the ring, sorry. It's like someone's done that on a fucking dog. And it,
Just around his body.
just around its body. And it does not look like it should be alive. And I put my so I was watching this doco once about like if basically humans were taken away, like just vanished off the face of the face of the earth. And dogs would actually become quite prominent because they're very good.
Oh,
They're
Rick and Morty
scavengers
already
and
covered
hunters.
this.
Yeah, but I look at Caleb's dog and I'm like, that thing's dying in 3 seconds. It's probably going to like take a step outside, get out the front door, take a step down, break its back and die.
I don't think
It's a gorgeous dog, but it just looks wrong, man.
It wasn't my choice. We've been over this several times.
No,
aren't they a hunting dog or like the
Originally, full-size dachshunds were bred to hunt badgers and go down the hole.
badgers.
And the mini ones, they bred to go down rabbit holes.
So if that wasn't your first choice, what would your first choice of dog been?
Oh, I grew up with bull mastiff, so I'd get another bull mastiff.
Really?
Yeah.
Another massive.
Or, as I just said before, a Vizsla.
Yeah.
What was the name of your the bull mastiff that you had?
I've had several.
The last one that you had with the
That was Betty.
Betty.
Yeah, Betty was the last one.
Good dog.
Holy
man.
fuck, how does Hayden remember and not you?
I can't remember people's names. Fuck, let alone dogs' names.
Massive Brent. Huge Brent.
That's in Britain.
Nah, she was called Betty because when she was quite young, she had a lot of like very dark markings on her face. So
Black Betty.
Black Betty, yeah.
Yeah.
Which they evaporated out of her fur eventually.
I think I like the Vizsla choice.
Yeah, I'd go Vizsla.
Yeah.
Like I said, some friends of ours have got one and it's a beautiful dog.
I can't picture what that breed looks like.
Ryan is Googling right now.
I'm guessing he can't either, but the difference is I'm okay to admit that because if I don't know something, I'll ask. Hence why, muzzer bizzer, you can ask.
Oh, you don't have to know everything on this podcast, although some of us proclaim to.
Need to invest in a fact checker.
There's been offers, trust me. People have
Dude,
actually offered.
We had so many people ask to come on the podcast, and like, I'll be a fact checker.
even remotely, people have said,
Look, I would sit off screen and do that for you and throw shit at you while you're doing this.
get in
Actually,
line.
we've not had anyone say that. That sounds like a pretty good fucking application. Throwing shit at us well.
Yeah, but the other thing is, you know what I'm like with my drinks, so
oh yeah,
Oh, look, there's a lot of moments where we need a young Jamie,
yeah.
but we don't have one.
So it's from Hungary and belongs to the
Hungarian Vizsla. I think I said that.
that's
Oh no, it's not Hungarian on the name. The name
Hungarian Vizsla. It's from Germany.
the answer is in the question.
So it looks like
I don't want you to explain what it looks like. Just show me.
Show
your
him a
phone.
picture. Say 1,000 of your words.
the head of a fucking. It's like the head of a sausage dog with a
yeah.
normal body.
Yeah, that looks like a
No.
That's the
that
worst
looks-
description.
that
of
looks
a
like a
dog ever.
whippet on steroids.
Get a side-on version.
Yeah, that looks like a
Get
whippet on
side-on
steroids.
picture.
That's how I'd explain that.
Oh yeah, fuck. That's a good looking dog.
They are good dogs.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Yeah, that's like a Dane with a whippet. That's what it looks like.
All right, let's all not pause and look at pictures. Next question. Hayden, most dangerous thing you've ever done?
Oh, most dangerous thing I've ever done.
Drugs do count.
Well, one of them would definitely be hunting with Ryan. That can get dangerous.
Correct.
Never know.
That's because I'm a fucking weapon.
Actually, no. Shotgun shooting with pointer. The amount of times you get checked with a double, you get checked with a double barrel with pointer when you're at the clay club. That's
Fair enough. Is that your answer, or you got a better one?
legitimately, it'd be jumping out of a plane. I've gone skydiving twice now. One time with your two younger brothers.
Oh, yes, I was there for that.
Yeah, and it's an adrenaline rush like no other. I've done some other crazy things which are highly illegal and I won't disclose here, but the jumping out of a plane is a lot more of adrenaline rush than anything you can do in a vehicle on South Australian roads.
Have you guys jumped out of a plane before?
No.
No, Josh likes to
We're
think he's a
fucking doing
paratrooper.
it. That is, we're doing a send it, mate. Fucking jumping out of a plane.
All right, just go straight for the 15,000 feet jump. Like, don't piss around with a 7 or a 10. Just go straight for the 15,000.
How about we all go up in a plane and push you out?
I mean, I'm sure you guys would love to
You
do
wouldn't.
that.
Well, you wouldn't do it.
Oh, I'd do it. I just don't have the burning desire to do it right now.
Well, not right now.
It's
We're recording
better-
a podcast.
It's a better adrenaline rush than just about
So
anything you've
is
done.
that the highest one, the 15,000 feet? Or does it go
No,
higher?
some dude
look,
jumped
if-
from the outer atmosphere, man.
Yeah, look, if
That's
you,
called a fucking world record, Josh. And I believe he needed a balloon to get up there.
I believe
Go
that,
hard or go home.
but I don't hold me to my words, but I believe you can go higher if you've got the licensing accreditation yourself. But I'm pretty sure the highest tandem jumps you can do is 15,000 feet.
Why would you say 15,000?
What's that?
Why would you go the 15,000?
A much longer free fall it's about $80 more. Well, so I did mine at Langhorne Creek, and it was about $80 more to do almost double. So I've done a 7,000, and then my 21st was an 8,000, but they took us to about 9.5. But you get about a 20 to 30 second free fall, whereas at 15,000 you get nearly a minute, which it's the free fall is where it's insane because if you jump out of the plane and you don't do anything crazy, the instructor will do some like flips and spins and like some cool stuff with you. Whereas if you fall out like a potato, they're just going to like flatten up and drop the chute pretty quick. But both times we've come out, leveled out quite quickly, and then they put us into a few spins. Like I got like leg hooked one time, and we got like a full like tumble about 3 or 4 turns head over, and it's just insane. You watch the sky and the ground. And then, then they level it out and they let you control the chute. Like it all depends on how you jump with your instructor, depending on what they let you do. Because they run you through a full safety briefing, of course, because you're jumping out of a plane. Like they take it quite seriously, but they'll tell you exactly how to do it. And as long as you listen to exactly how they tell you to do it, they will give you the best experience. But my next jump is definitely going to be 15,000 feet because I've considered doing my solo license so I can do it myself because it's a great way to travel around the world. Because there's the last guy I jumped with, he was a guy from France, I think it was, and he has paid for his round the world trip by doing tandem jumps at different locations all around the world. So he'll go there, he'll work for a few months, and then pay to go to the next place, and then go to skydiving there, and he gets to see everything while he's skydiving as well. So
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it.
Fucking cool.
Pretty cool.
I've heard that like it doesn't feel like falling because you don't have anything to judge it off of because you obviously, you don't have buildings whizzing or structure whizzing past you.
No reference.
You obviously still get the initial feeling of falling, I'm presuming.
Well, the hardest part is definitely getting out of the plane because I'm quite a big guy. I'm 6'3", 110 kegs, and I've usually got an instructor that's lighter than me, and you're sitting there out of the plane. They're still sitting on the plane. They want you to keep shuffling forward, and you're at the point where you're not sitting on anything. You're just hanging out of the plane, and it's all their weight that's holding you back from being able to fall out. And that's the hardest part. It's just sitting there and not either holding on to something, putting your feet on the bar underneath the plane or whatever. Like it's just you sit there. Whatever they do is what happens. But it's the tilt like this. They go forward once, and then the second time you're out, and then it's that moment the adrenaline just hits as you start to sway because you know it's about to happen, and then the adrenaline just peaks. And the main thing that's going through your brain is don't pass out because I've got videos for both of them, and it's just you don't want to look like that potato that's like a rag doll just flopping around in the video because
You looked white as snow, man, from that video. Like you looked pale.
well the video. Oh, you would only see my first, but you wouldn't see my second video. The first video, that was the 9,500 feet jump, and I was shit scared because I'd never done it. But it was the second time was heaps easier, And yeah, now I do a 15,000 tandem, and then depending on how that goes, because I've done one jump since being type 1 diabetic, and then the other was before like pre-diagnosis, so that was all good. And I don't know how I'd go with the 15,000, so that's why I do the 15,000 and just make sure that I'm like all safe for doing that. And then if I was all good with that, then I'd pay the money for my license, because it's about $2,500 to get your solo license, and you get 10 jumps, all the accreditation, and it's a worldwide accreditation, so you can go to any country in the world and legally jump out of a plane.
Yeah.
So, you want to get up to some of the peaks for some crazy deer hunts. You just go up in a plane, jump over the country, land on the top of the hill, shoot your deer, pack it down, get picked up.
I watched Bear Grylls, man. He's jumped into some of his survival challenges before, and I've thought about the same thing with your rifle. Say like New Zealand, I don't know, obviously, don't know how it works, but yeah, jump onto a peak and parachute in and then go from there. But you'd obviously have to have a leg bag or whatever for your gear. But
yeah, you need the accreditation as well, which it's
yeah. I don't think I'd do it without a license. But
Nah, you jump out of a plane onto the peaks, grab your deer, and then base jump home.
Look,
Sorted.
that would look great. You put your pack on your back, whoever you're sponsored by, put the rack in it with all your meat hanging out of it, and you go on what is it,
With the wingsuit.
Wingsuit. Yeah, you're wingsuiting down the hill, but then your full cape is like flying out behind you, so you got like a dual wingsuit. Just
would any of you do a wingsuit?
fucking oath. I'd love to try that.
Dude, I am shit scared of heights.
Yeah, that's right, you are, aren't you?
Shit scared.
Fuck.
Like I've managed to overcome every scenario so far that I've challenged myself with, but like with skydiving and that, maybe I could do that. Bungee jumping is like a massive fucking maybe.
Maybe we should try out on the whole wild confidence course down down on the beach first. See how you go.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, that doesn't bother me because I can climb up a 12-foot ladder, no worries, because I've been
It's
doing
a
that
bit more than 12 feet.
Well, but like I can climb up ladders and that sort of thing on a construction site, no worries. I had to work up to that though. Like it's not like if I don't do it for a while, I have to
You get woozy.
No, I do, man. I'm not even joking. I just I'm built to have my feet on the ground.
Big man's not supposed to fly.
Exactly right.
See, I'd be keen for a New Zealand hunt for a shaggy sheep. Like, love a bull tar, 100%.
Sorry, what? You're going to shag a bull tar?
Yeah, sure am. Yeah, just.
I'd shag on a bull tar's skin.
Who
Bloody oath.
I'd just shag on a bull tar.
Oh, yeah.
On a bull.
Yeah.
I'd shag a bull.
On the fur, mate, on the ground by the fire.
If and when I go for the hunt in New Zealand, I'll be going over there and doing all their extreme stuff like downhill mountain bike riding,
awesome.
Bungee jumping, the massive swing they've got there, and I'd probably also go for another skydive there because it's pretty crazy. It's a good way to see it. So do like a week of a holiday, bit of explore both the islands, and then do a big hunt there.
Yeah, shit, yeah. I'd be down to do one of those swings as well, actually. They look fucking gnarly.
Have you seen the ones where they get the little steel chainsaw and they sit there like just cutting away at your rope and then they cut through it and then you drop?
Huh? No?
They've got like a little electric, like a little battery operated steel chainsaw and they cut the little hanging rope that's attached to you and then that's what actually drops you and sends you on your swing.
Oh, so it's just being dramatic.
Yeah, they cut the rope instead of like having some sort of mechanical release. But it's just a bit of a laugh, yeah.
Fuck that.
No, quite often it's the guy that wants to do it, and then they've got their partner with them who's like having fucking kittens. They're like full shit and bricks there, and they just put the little chainsaw and they just buzz it a bit, and then they're like, "No, don't do it." And then he like just comes through and just cuts it clean, and they swing down the canyon.
Can we cut it? And he can.
Just
cut
like
it up there, and then we cut it.
Well, just pull out your EDC and just.
See you, Caleb. Yeah, fuck yeah.
You just pull an F-dick off your hip, just pull boning knife.
I do love an F-dick knife, man.
Not even that. You're going up with a samurai fucking sword. Like, what's that for? I'm going to cut some rope.
I see you played Fruit Ninja before.
I have played Fruit Ninja before.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Hayden, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
All right, so this is a big shout out to my old man, Paul.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, that's Paul Wandle. It would be, if you're going to do something illegal, don't get caught. That's
solid advice.
That is. It's not illegal if you don't get caught, bro.
Yeah, look, that's given us a lot of fun over the years of being brought up. We've done some questionable things.
I think the word you're looking for there is illegal.
No, questionable. So even one of the best things we've ever done was he had some chains he wanted to put on his trailer, And instead of putting them in a sandblasting cabinet or something like that before painting them, we've just attached them to we attached them to a piece of rope and tied that to the tow ball of the car, and then did a ridiculously over the speed limit speed down the main street of Owen where he lives. And that was our way of sandblasting the chain. Because the chain is whipping all over the bitumen, scratching all the old paint off of it. And yeah, by the time we got home, you could see yourself in it. It was like a mirror finish. So that's one thing I'm willing to share, but there's been plenty of other considerably questionable things.
Sounds like your dad's a very innovative man.
Well, like I said, if you're going to do something stupid, just don't get caught. But then again, if it's... But leading in with that, it's also, if it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they kind of go hand in hand.
What was the time difference between doing it your way or actually having to sandblast the chains?
Well, which one do we have more fun doing?
Well, that too.
Because sandblasting, we would have had to set up the cabinet and pay for the sand or dig the sand out of my sand pit, which, as a 7-year-old, when you got your little mini digger there, you don't want to be taking the sand out of it. So, yeah.
I'm assuming you weren't driving at 7.
I'm going to say no.
He didn't get caught.
You don't have to incriminate yourself on the podcast, mate.
Oh,
It's not what we got here.
Look, I
It's
believe
not an
it's
interrogation.
I'm pretty sure it's 10 years after you've done something. They can't exactly do you for it, but the earliest I remember driving is about 10.
Yeah. I mean, we all did, like,
Mate, we all did
country roads and, like, national parks and shit.
No, it was more of you've had a fair few West Ends. How about you don't drive home from the pub? And then I start up the old VT. And
Hang on. You drove your old man home. It wasn't like the old man was like, yeah, no, this is how you drive a stick, and he was just fucked and you drove him home.
No,
What else do you have children?
He wouldn't be fucked. He would be hydrated, as we call it. And then I would tell him, like, how about I drive home? And then there was never, because we grew up in a little town, it was always just there's the keys. And then,
no worries.
That's a really good idea. I'm going to remember that for my son.
yeah, but,
My son's already driven.
well, it's going to be a daughter because what have you got? A 79.
My daughter will have bigger balls than you, bro.
Yeah, but she'll still have to get out to lock her hubs.
It's all good. When your 79's bogged, I'll come through with the patrol and pull you out. It's all right.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, speaking of things you own, what is your most treasured possession?
Well, this one's quite interesting, actually.
Okay.
I have a fridge that is 3 times the age of myself, which is mine, and that is my most treasured possession. It is an old Kelvinator Silent Night, and I have a photo.
Fridge.
Yep, I have two photos of a similar one because I haven't actually got it. It's in the old farmhouse, but it is a classic old
Oh, yeah.
old fridge, and that is my most treasured possession because it was my grandmother's.
I think I used to have, mum and dad used to have one of those.
So part of
wow.
part of what I've been promised before her passing is that it's going to get fully restored and repainted, and she's going to get a plaque put on it with her dates, my mother's dates, and my birth dates on it as a family emblem. So that's my most treasured possession because it's something odd because I remember seeing it as a young kid in the back shed. It's still sitting in the back shed in our family home in Balaclava because we still own that place, and it's just sitting there. It still works. We'd plug it in every Christmas every year, and we would be putting like platters of all sorts of different foods and stuff in it every year. Still works. I'll plug it in tomorrow. It'd be running, no worries. But that's it. It's a really old fridge, but we're going to turn it into a family heirloom by putting the plaque on the front of it when it gets restored, and that'll be in my man cave.
That's cool. Yeah, so it's just nostalgic value, all the memories.
Yeah,
Cool.
So that would have been my great grandfather's because that's still in his old workshop at the back of that property because they built that place after the First World War.
Yeah, wow.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so it's a real old house.
That's some heritage right there.
Which I've been talking about running a D9 through and building 5 apartments, but
But now I'm getting bored with my investment opportunities.
don't need to tell Granny that one because she'd die and then roll over in the grave.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. I think that's probably the most unique answer we've had, a fridge. But
Look, I told you it's pretty left field, but it means a lot to me because it's just something that's so different and unique.
It's fucking cool. That's like what's that that show with is it Ad Men? About advertising agencies. Mad Men, that's the one. It looks like something straight out of that. Like it's probably like similar era, but that's
All I think about is 1955, the song by Hilltop Hoods.
Hilltop Hoods, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, what the fuck is the fridge in that song called?
Oh,
It's the Call of Choice.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even think, hey.
No idea. This is why we need a young Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, but
Fact check it.
the thing that like puts that back is it's such a weird thing that I've always remembered because it was just always sitting there in the shed. And I don't know, I always just saw it as something that was kind of cool because like if there was ever an opportunity like at Christmas time to like run something down to the shed to put it in the old fridge, it's like I wanted to do it. But there's an old one of the meat chests that's in there, like the old timber ones with the metal like the mesh fly wire on it. And that's getting restored because my mum wants to put that in her new house. So there's just all this old.
See, I'm surprised it's not been shot. Like a lot of sort of like pieces or items that end up in the back shed on farms, they get shot.
Well, look, there's not a mark or a dent on it, and it still runs. It's just got your regular run of the mill plug on it. It plugs in, it starts, it runs, it keeps stuff cold, and it's a cool fridge.
I have a story about a fridge that got used to be shot. So I was at a property belonging to someone else, and in the middle of their property, it was about a square kilometre, this property, was a fridge, which it was a new fridge, newish sort of fridge, nothing of this nostalgic value. And it was just left in the middle of this paddock and people were using it for target practice, which doesn't seem funny, but
It seems like
My brother.
I just happened to be there with Ryan's brother and Ryan's brother needed a shit and the fridge was on its side. So he's just gone, that's a perfect toilet. So I've just left him to his own devices. And he's
This old mate Carl,
Yeah, Carl was like fucking. Oh, have you met Carl?
sure have.
Oh fuck, you've met everyone. You're my whole family. Carl was like a little smaller, less cooler version of me, but he's definitely just got like a don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh, I think he didn't want to squat in the bush, and he's like, "Well, this."
Well, I asked him about that. I was like, "Why didn't you just go in the bush?" He's like, "Oh, the fridge seemed like a better choice."
Yeah, you can just sit
to
on
be
it.
honest, it does. Thinking about it,
But
yeah, it does.
I've seen the. Did he show you the photo?
I went. All right, so
Was it your
the
photo?
finish to the story is, he's like, "Oh, dude, you got to come look at this shit." So I went and had a look at it, and to this day, I've never seen a shit with the girth on it. Like it's a solid log about 6 inches long, and I'm not even kidding you. It would have been like 2-inch diameter. This shit.
Fucking hell.
It's a gift.
And I'm like, how the fuck did that come out of your asshole, bro? It was just a freak poo.
I believe
Expander foam.
I believe it's called pegging.
You work your way up in size.
Anyway, yeah, a freak poo in a fridge in a paddock. There you go.
It's one
Well-
shitty fridge.
There was a question about what the fridge that they referred to in 1955. It was Wardell refrigerator.
Oh, that's right.
The cooler choice. Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
That's a dope song,
Yeah,
man.
great song.
You try Barry's Brew Cream today. Fuck, that's a
Mate,
dope
Hilltop
song.
Hoods, Aussie,
South Australian.
Australian Aussie. Yeah, man, they're like an hour and a half away from us is where they grew up. It's fucking great.
Yeah, one of my school teachers used to party with them.
Mate.
So, like she had, so that to stay hip with
Oh,
us.
she. There you go.
Yeah, of course she
That's
did. Yeah,
what I mean.
party
Yeah,
with them.
party with her legs
Look,
open.
nah, she was a
Josh, that's a vile allegation.
nah. Look, so
Groupie.
So this teacher, she was Serbian and she had some pretty bad throat cancer.
Habits.
At very early 20s from smoking, probably with the Hilltop Hoods. But anyways, so
He's being serious, by the way, by the sound.
so she had a voice that sounded like this. So she used to scream at a room full of guys like this all the time. But yeah, week one, she was telling us a story about partying with the Hilltop Hoods, then showed us the photo on her desk. Oh my god! No, that's it. It was her.
How the fuck did you learn from her?
We used to scream at her and like we'd swear and use all the profanities, and she would just scream guys, and it was way quieter than any of us boys would like talk. So yeah, that was interesting because we're a room full of like 16 and 17-year-old horny mechanics. And we had, I don't know why they put a female teacher in there because we would just scream and swear and all sorts, and she would just be struggling to like control the room. But But nah, so that was her story in week 1 orientation week to try and like gain all of our like I don't know
The respect.
yeah. But then it turns out that there was 3 guys that were massive stoners in my class would smoke with them regularly anyways. So there was guys that were still in with the Hilltop Hoods now, and then pretty much told her that like it's nothing special because like that's us now.
Oh, dude,
So-
they're locals, man. Like, there's people that know people. Like, it's second twice from me. I used to work with a
Adelaide,
guy.
man.
Yeah, but
Adelaide's
there's
small
like the
place.
Hilltop Hoods, the Funk Whores, and someone else that was like a
Funk oars.
Funk Oars.
The funk whores.
Horrors.
Yeah, there's a
They
silent
got,
age.
they got some bangers. They even did one about COVID, man.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And that was fucking.
Yeah, but COVID's a myth. Have you heard people about the flu that, like these days? I've had
Oh, you die
Someone's
from the
wound
flu,
him up.
but if you
Someone's
get COVID,
wound him
you
up
stay
about
home.
COVID.
dead set. So my long weekend plans of motorbike riding and massive bonfires got cancelled because 5 people I knew have got the flu. 3 of them have been badly hospitalised, and they've all had COVID. And this is like 10, 15 times worse than COVID.
Flu.
Yeah, flu.
The cold.
Influenza
yeah.
A worse than the COVID.
Yeah, our immune systems are fucked from all the bullshit they managed to go through with COVID. Like, there's no
The sterilisation.
sterilisation.
Yeah,
exactly right.
we've been kept in lockdown. We haven't had the niggly cold. The only people that have had the colds are people with either that are working in like childcares and schools, because obviously kids are like one of your biggest carriers of like the little sicknesses and colds and bullshit you get. So people that work with them or have kids, quite often they'll have all those bullshit colds and they'll have a stronger immune system. But all these people that wrap themselves in cotton wool, which I'm noticing because they're the people that have had the flu recently, they're the ones that have been coming out.
Oh,
bad.
shit, yeah.
Fucked up, yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm immune compromised, so I should be concerned. But then again, I've had some bullshit colds the last year or so, but it hasn't really stopped me in my tracks. But then again, the government would like us to stay at home, and I've kind of just done my own thing.
Yeah, here, bro. I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Cheers.
Tits and ass.
Fucking hell.
It's like it was a fucking struggle to get you to test for COVID. I'm pretty sure even if you had it, you wouldn't tell us.
Because I don't believe in it.
See, so I'm eligible for free rat tests because I've got my healthcare card. That's me. But I still haven't got any of them because what's the point of testing? Because you test and then you have to stay at home. Whereas,
Yeah, if you don't know that you got it.
yeah, if you don't know you have
really have
COVID, you don't have it.
Oh, dude, I'm torn because I work in environments that could potentially, like, because I work with elderly people and people that could potentially be at risk, like in those areas. So I'm torn between if I get sick, do I test myself? Because I'm like, I don't want to fucking go into lockdown and that sort of shit. Like, you get a rat test, it's sort of, that's cool, but you got to go follow it up with a PCR test. And then, and then I'm torn because I'm like, well, I don't want to be the guy that brings something in because I'm asymptomatic, to bring something in and then potentially make someone else sick and kills them. But I also don't want to stay at home and not work for some bullshit thing that doesn't actually make me sick.
Yeah, but we've worked together while we've had bullshit colds and we survived.
This is true.
So maybe it is just a hoax.
Oh, it's one of those
I
things.
think you'll find, man, that pretty much most people would have been exposed to it by now, if not everybody.
Man, I'm convinced. Like,
really.
it was like, if you've got pre-existing conditions, the original strains of the virus could be dangerous, but viruses throughout the fucking entire, as long as we've ever known about them, the more that they mutate, the less deadly they become.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's how they work.
Because they don't want to kill the host, mate. Because they
Exactly
need the
right.
host
Yeah,
to live.
it's how they work. So this whole bullshit where like, oh, now you're your 4th and your 5th and your 6th and you fucking, let's just jab everyone with vaccinations. You don't fucking need it.
Double vaxxed is not fully vaxxed.
Oh, what a crock
Yeah,
of
but look,
shit.
If I hear that ad one more time, I'm going to put my fist through my radio.
I'm just going to get punch a doctor.
But if you want
they have it on a fucking board, man, that just fucking repeats that fucking double vax is not fully vaxxed. And
look, but if
then
you wanna go
there's a
down that
photo of
rabbit
a
hole-
dude or a chick that's like, I got COVID and nearly died.
Oh, yeah, she's like, I used to run marathons and then I got COVID. I'm like, motherfucker, there's people that are professional sports people that got the jab and are worse off than if they had COVID.
well, look, let me tell you, I used to cut firewood, and then I got COVID, and then I got type 1 diabetes. So,
So case end point.
but then again, it hasn't really stopped me doing anything. It just means I have to stick myself like a junkie and check my blood sugar every now and then. But you know, you got some people out there that roll over in their grave, and then there's me. You give me a pack of jelly beans and watch me shoot deer.
Fuck, no, give you a packet of anything with sugar in it, you smash the whole thing, and then you jab yourself again.
Yeah, because I'm a bit fiendish. Like when I want sugar, and then like I demolish a bag and then go, oh fuck, that was way too much.
we were on site and he's like, yeah, my blood sugar's a bit low. I should probably go get some lollies or something. And I had to drive him because you can't. What level?
Right, so legally, if my blood sugar's below 5, so 5 millimoles of sugar to your blood, then you legally can't drive. And I was sitting well below that. I'm not going to say my numbers on here, but it was well below that. So I chat Ryan the keys to the mighty poo troll, and he burned us down to the servo. And now he asked me when we were at the servo, and I bought the drinks that we got, and then he asked me if I'm right to drive. I said, "Nah, I'm still fucked." And old mate at the servo looked at me. He's like, "You've been drinking." He thought I was pissed. He thought I was pissed as a
you're off
minute.
your fucking tits.
And I'm like, "No, mate, I'm just diabetic." And then that's when I showed him my tattoo because I got a medal tattoo on my arm, which is a bit of a piss take. It's Rick and Morty. It's gorgeous.
It is fucking amazing.
But yeah, so I showed him that, and he's like, had a bit of a chuckle, and then realised that I wasn't taking the piss. So he's like, "Oh, well, better get that in you," because I had a whole pack of what were they? The sour patch.
Sour patch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you smash? You're like, do you want one? I'm like, yeah, I'll have one. And then like look over, you smash the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, there's about five. There's about 5 left in the bag, and I've offered some to Ryan. He's grabbed one of the remaining 4, and then I've smashed a litre of Powerade. So I've had like. No, just about 200 grams of sugar that's just gone straight to my brain.
I know nothing about diabetes, so in my mind I'm going, oh, he's going to have a heart attack or he's going to have fucking liver failure or something about that.
Don't you fucking joke about heart attacks. I already had one of those.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was concerned. And I'm stuck in the fucking poo troll that crunches it. Well, it doesn't anymore because it's dead. But then it was like crunching into first every time I took off.
No, it wasn't crunching. It was the clutch going as the ceramic one-piece clutch just falls apart piece by piece. Just
Been doing that for like 2 years, 3 years.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
but
I mean,
still drives. I'm yet to see a car that's got 740,000 Ks on it. Still goes.
yeah, it's a fair
How much has got on it?
Yeah, I'll park it up. I decided it's getting to the point now where it's getting a bit questionable. So I've parked it up now. I'm going to put the new motor in it. I've got the big old Cummins to put in it. So yeah, hence why I bought Poiter's old D22. Shout out to Poiter.
Can't go wrong with a D22, mate.
Yeah, that's run over many people.
Smooth driving. It actually,
That specific one has.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
it is. It is.
So Josh nearly crushed my foot one day when I was jumping into that when we were chasing the cattle because we could never keep the cattle in the fences. So yeah, we were chasing them one day and I was climbing up into the ute. My foot was on top of the tyre as he's going to take off and I got 3/4 of the way around and somehow got it out and before it went over.
Apples and
No,
trees, bro.
that's the original toe crusher.
I
that.
don't remember that at all.
No, we were.
You had steelies on, you'd be right.
Your top fence next to the CFS station, coming up to the track where all that the white goods are dumped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there. We'd just gone through that fence, which you didn't have keys for because somehow you lost your keys, so we had to take the fence down to get through there. And climbing up into the back of that ute, yeah, I don't know how my toe didn't get run over. It probably did, but yeah, then again, I had a steel cap on, so
Yeah, I don't know. Don't
all
remember
good.
it.
Whistling Dixie.
No, keep the tradition alive, mate.
Good times.
Runs people's toes over. All right, question 9. Recommend a movie to us.
Oh,
Make it good.
look, depends. I've got one older movie. I think it's like mid-2000s. That would be Wanted.
Older movie. Mid-2000s.
Dude, that's like 20 years old.
Look, for context, I'm like 10 years younger than all these boys here. Just for context.
You're an old soul.
But that'd be that. But if I was to say a recent movie, a real good one, The Adam Project, Ryan Reynolds, he's a god among men, and that movie is hilarious.
That is
It's a good
fucking
movie.
excellent.
It's
That's what it is.
amazing.
I'd say it's a smidgen under Deadpool.
Yeah, it's close. It's close.
Close, but
Look, Deadpool is in a league of its own, but then again, that's too cliche to say. So yeah, I'd say Adam Project. It's pretty good. It's worth a watch.
Anything Ryan Reynolds is pretty good. I didn't think the Adam Project was
Yeah, but you don't like sci-fi that much.
like I like the Adam Project, but I feel like there's better Ryan Reynolds movies. Like even the Hitman's Bodyguard, I thought was better than the Adam Project.
That's fine. Or what's that one?
I also have a thing for Salma
something
Hayek, but
guy.
that's the thing. That's a whole other
Oh,
concept.
the good guy.
The good guy.
Oh,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the good guy.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like a program.
Yeah, in a game.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
fucking awesome.
Look, that's pretty good. I watched Six Underground last night for the first time too. That's
Yeah,
not
it's
bad
good.
as well. But but
that was like a pump and dump movie.
yeah, it
felt
wasn't
like.
too bad. But like the Adam Project, I love that because like I'm not sure the kid actor's name, but the two of them just clicked.
Oh yeah, he
Like,
did a good job
yeah,
as a young
yeah,
Ryan
The back and
Reynolds.
forth was just
Yeah, yeah.
on point.
Yeah.
Like it was that
It's
was
casted very, very
that was a
well.
real good watch.
Yeah.
True. Well, why wanted then?
They back to the casting of that one. They spent a week together before. I think it was more than a week actually before filming to see if they did click well because the director was so on top of how well the chemistry had to be for the movie to work. So
Chemistry between
People.
Charles.
I'm sorry. Chemistry means how well people click.
Between adults and Charles is just making fun of your whole
I know, I get it. It's
maps
just,
and Nambler fucking road you went down.
I'm sorry that you had to do like the basic science when you're at school, like the struggler one, where they talk about fucking colours and
he was in Group 1 maths.
There's 7 colours and that's it.
7. Wait, so are you telling me that one day they mixed red and blue together? It's one day and made purple.
No, the rainbow denotes all the colours
That's
in the spectrum.
leukemia-free Coke, by the way.
Yeah, I'll have some chemia-free Coke. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, what about Wanted? Why is that up in your recommendations?
I don't know. It's just one of the first shooter movies that I saw, and I thought it was cool because they're running on trains and bending bullets and
Gave you completely unrealistic expectations.
exactly everything. Well, look, if we want to talk about unrealistic expectations, have you seen what WA posted in the last day in regards to that 3D printed firearm?
Oh,
This
what
is
a
a-
fucking joke.
All right, this is a full piss take. So they're saying that it's a 3D printed firearm made out of PLA, so it can obviously survive the 40,000 plus feet pressures of a 9mm bullet, which they're saying it can shoot. It's got a 15 round magazine capacity, and it's a semi-automatic that with one trigger pull can shoot 15 rounds. So explain that one to me. It's a 3D printed thing that looks like. Actually, I'll pull it up. I'm pretty sure.
The material that's printed out of is fucking. It's porous. It's
brittle
Right,
as well.
here's a photo of it,
It'll
just
shatter.
it's fucked.
for reference.
Okay, so
But they're
people who
saying-
don't know, this gun was seized from someone's house and
So
they
this is
3D printed it.
18-year-old that designed and 3D printed his own gun.
It's a toy.
So yeah, this is in Western
It's a
Australia.
toy.
They're saying that it has I've seen it labelled as a pistol because when they've shown photos from the muzzle end, the fore end, it doesn't have any barrel coming through it. So they've been calling it a pistol. They've called it a fully auto. They've called it a semi-auto. And apparently it's a 9mm capability of shooting 15 rounds in 1 second with one trigger pull. But they keep calling it a semi-auto pistol. So
Yeah, this is ignorance, man. This
Wow.
is ignorance
So-
and uneducated fucking
No,
politics.
they're just making shit up.
yeah, with
well, that's exactly what
this
I
is
said.
WA's new firearms laws to a T. Like projectiles and brass and stuff are all considered live ammunition now, so they can't have the regular couriers and postal services using them to deliver them. So in a way, they've cut off the supply of ammunition to reloaders because if you can't have ammo, obviously you're not going to have.
What are they all fucking doing over there, man? It's like fucking the Canada of Australia.
Well, we just had a federal election, and I'm quite surprised at the outcome. But what are we going to do going forward?
So Dictator Dan, who's Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria.
Yeah. So he's probably a good example of pushing shit over that no one fucking agrees with. I think the same thing's going on, just less upfront with the media. And I think there's an agenda that's being pushed because
In WA.
in WA,
yeah.
I think the same agenda's being pushed elsewhere. Just it's some politicians have it out in the open, trying to grasp that sort of leftist, very loosely in quotation, sort of ideology where guns are bad, people don't need them, blah 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 blah. I think that there is a unified attempt in all of the states to try and get the same level of gun control.
Well, just with that, actually, this is weird because the other day I watched the press release about the seizure of 3 tons of firearms in New South Wales, right? And they had the police commissioner there who just doesn't matter, she's a female, and another gentleman, I can't remember what his
Sexist
title was.
pig.
But they were talking about the seizure of these 27,000 guns, 3 tons supposedly, at 2,700. Fuck. Anyway, they said that like 87 were seized from crime, and the rest were like handed in from the amnesty, either people passing on and didn't need the guns anymore because they died or they moved from the country and didn't need them anymore, or they're just not into it anymore and they've handed the guns in. Anyway, I'm going to give it to kudos to the Police Commissioner of New South Wales and this other gentleman, because at the end, the media is basically hounding these two people about we need tougher gun laws. What are you going to do about the watered down gun laws? Blah blah blah, and they made it a point to turn around and said, no, we want shooters to have their firearms for pest control, for sporting reasons, etc., etc. We want to take the guns out of criminals' hands, the illegal guns, not the law-abiding citizens. And I'll give it to them. And I actually thought it was going to go the other way when I started watching the video. I thought, all right, here we go. Fucking, they're going to implement new shit now. Nah. Yeah. And I was like, I actually felt good about listening to this press release. I was like, wow.
Well, that makes sense though, doesn't it? Because you've got illegally obtained and used firearms that get seized, and you've got legally obtained firearms that are within the bounds of the law. If people are going to break the law with a firearm, it's not often done with a legally obtained
And they stated
firearm.
that, man, and they stated that in the press release as well. But I just didn't think that was going to be the outcome being New South Wales. I thought that they would have jumped on the bandwagon to suppress the laws even more. And no, they didn't. And look, New South Wales still has some slightly ridiculous laws with the appearance shit and the folding stocks. But look, it was pleasant to hear them not try to take a mile.
Is that the same? Because I don't know much about this. Do you know if it's the same police commissioner that was in the same position when the folding stocks and appearance laws came in, or is it a different?
No idea, bro. No idea.
It's interesting to find out because it might be. I mean, in my opinion, I would say that a female in a position like that is the sort of person that would be able to hold their own in seeing through the bullshit. A male that works their way up to that position, I think, would probably go with the strides that he's required to go through.
Well, look, it's funny that you brought this up because it's actually something that's been pushed with this case in WA with that 3D printed firearm. They're pushing that they've found all of these like thousands and thousands of firearms in New South Wales, and they're trying to push it like, look, we found all of these. We've got people 3D printing them. We've got all these guns here. And then plus with the recent mass shootings in America, they're just pushing it at going, well, they want to make stringent, well, supposedly WA wants to make even more stringent firearms laws, even though they've already gone with such a full crazy spectrum of what they've already done.
Yeah.
But then, to hear that New South Wales is backing that, they're not looking to put stricter laws is a real good transition, because WA has gone the full opposite field where they've gone, they're going crazy with everything from parts to ammunition, like manufacturing parts, which is normal. Like a lot of shooters now, they reload their own ammunition, it's not a
it's economical and it's beneficial for the sporting industry of shooting.
It's also ethical for the hunters that want to have the better ammunition. So that
is true. So I don't think they're going to do that, but I was worried, like in this election, to be honest, with Labor. But since then, doing a bit of research, Labor don't want to change the current laws. And I was pleased to hear that.
So Labor supposedly doesn't want to introduce stricter laws, rather. However, the Greens, who are heavily aligned with them, they obviously do. But at the end of the day, it's not the Greens that are in it, it's Labor that's in. Yeah. And so far they haven't brought up anything, but then again, it is very early days of the federal election.
It could change, you're right, but for the moment they
we're
don't
sitting in a
want
pretty safe spot. Yeah.
So, and look, for everyone that's listening out there in Radio Land, vote the fucking Lib Dems, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, put the
Sorry, I shouldn't use God's name in vain.
Put the minor parties before the majors. Come on. Vote in some sort of alignment.
100%.
Fair enough. Well, while we're on the topic of rifles, how about we finish the prescribed questions?
He wants to cuck you, mate.
Yeah, he does. He's cock blocking.
Had enough, yeah.
Yes.
He gets too wound up. All right.
It's good. We've got solid,
Someone doesn't get wound down enough.
we've got solid conversation going here, but yeah, Josh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, he said his piece. Good on you. Vote the Lib Dems.
Greenpeace.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, but then again, speaking of political, if you want to get a good playlist going, just search Pauline Hanson's Australia Day playlist. That's a fantastic one on Spotify for all those listeners out there.
She's got a great sense of good music.
You just want to fuck her, don't you?
Absolutely.
You got a mad fetish for that ranger, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That mouth.
Wow.
You just want the fish and chip shop pussy, don't you?
What the fuck?
Only if there's the same oil in the fryer.
Anyway, let's move on to the last question.
guide
'cause
us back to the last
Caleb
question.
can rest then.
Lubricant.
Oh, God. All right, Hayden. Fucking someone. What was your first rifle,
Hayden's
mate?
fucking someone.
All right, so my very first rifle was actually registered to Josh because I didn't have my firearms license at that point. I'd put in for it, and it was a CZ 455 stainless synthetic.
So it was yours. Not
ish.
technically.
It was under my license in my safe, and he came around and used it when he
When I was under
supervision.
Yeah, I was under direct supervision of Josh. I could use it then, so it was all legal because I knew that I was going to go in for the course. I was going to do it, but we happened to be at the gun shop buying some ammo that day, and we saw it, and it was at a good time. It was pre-COVID, pre-price hike, and it was a very nice first rifle. So I bought that, and that's got a Vortex Diamondback 624 on it, which is a little bit overscope for what I use it for now. It was perfect for what we used to use it for, shooting at 50 meters plus. Like we had targets at 75, 85, which it was fantastic for because you could shoot a 22 or an arrow spine, which we regularly shot at.
Plinking.
With that, yeah, plinking shooting. But now that I've my auntie's got a block at Cuddly Creek, so I'm regularly shooting rabbits, and they're quite often within 5 to 10 meters of me, and I can't even see them in my scope because the scope does not go to a low enough
Iron
count.
sights.
It's horrible. Like you can't even see it. You get a point and just kind of cross your fingers and shoot. So I'm thinking I'm in two minds whether to go to like a 1 to 8 power on it, 2 to 7, or maybe even a red dot.
Yeah, red dot. If
Because-
you're shooting at 5 meters, man, red dot it.
Because I've got my air rifle as well, which we've got singing up to about 50, 60 meters, which if I've got a rabbit in that, I've shot multiple rabbits at close range with it because it's a nice little Diana air rifle, which is shooting over 1,000 feet per second with a 177. So it's good for rabbits, good for like decent sized birds that you can legally shoot. But the 22, it's a great little rifle. Like they're going up considerably in price, but it's
Double the price now, mate. Probably selling make money.
well, look, used. I've seen them going for like a few $100s more than I paid when it was brand new. So it's not bad, but it's just way over scope. So I'm thinking of putting something a bit more block friendly on it, so I can use it more for the short range targets. But then again,
No, you don't need reasons for 22, so just go out and buy another 22. There's actually a really nice CZ in an MDT chassis that's nice and short, compact, lightweight, fucking, yeah, it'll sort you out.
yeah, I've seen it, and you keep talking yourself into it. But yeah, funnily enough, you haven't sold your Swaro scope that has sat on your shelf for what 2 years now. If you just sold
Over
that,
2 years.
and what you should do, funnily enough, this man, just for some context, he's had a BLR which he put his PTA in for the day I bought my CZ. He paid for it the same day, and he still hasn't picked that up. And that was in April of 2020. He has a BLR that's sitting in a gun shop that's local to us.
Just-
And he keeps making excuses, all the excuses under the world. And since then, he's bought a Cruiser. He's bought a Caravan. he has bought an IKEA Edition 223 Ackley, which I bought mine on the same day. And mine is a rebarreled and functioning rifle, and his is still in pieces. And he still hasn't picked up that fantastic little BLR.
Mate, if you don't pick it up, I'll go pick it up.
Look, you already got your takedown. Like,
Yeah.
Nah, I fucking love my takedown.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun with little lever guns. Little
yeah, look,
funky
I've
little-
actually been looking. There's a nice used one sitting at a local gun shop at the moment for $400.
Really?
17 round tube mag.
17?
Winchester or
17 round. Nah, it's not a
Henry?
mini.
How long's the barrel?
It's a 21 inch.
Henry?
No, it's not a Henry. It's a what are they? They're a
Morocco?
Shapshi. Shapper.
Chiappa.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Chiappa.
what
Yeah.
my cub is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 21 inch barrel with a 17 round mag, and it's $400 or $395.
Well,
Mate, that thing would
fucking
shoot straight.
Stop!
eh?
Don't buy that fucking 303.
I've already
buy that.
the 303's already bought, man.
Just buy this one.
No,
instead.
I'm going to deaderize some deer with that 303. Like it's already it's set in stone. Oh yeah, shout out to Steve-O, deaderize.
Dead or eyes.
That's
I don't think
speak.
Steve listens actually.
Look,
He doesn't know how to use podcast.
Look, no, we need to get some. What's it called? The fucking Morse code. We need a Morse code to podcast so I can like dot dash 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 and like send it through to him.
Yeah, that's like a 6-hour podcast.
Yeah, look, he will be listening there. He'll have like the little receiver sitting on the gear stick of his Hilux as he's sitting there like feeling the vibrations, going
But he'd get it printed in Braille so he doesn't have to take his eyes off the road and still read the Morse code.
Yeah, he'll be able to feel it and listen to I Dream of Jeannie in the background on the speakers.
Fucking loves it. Big shout out to Steve. If you're listening, mate, I'm sorry.
He's not. He doesn't know how to,
He has
doesn't
no
know how
clue,
to
but-
access podcasts at all.
But he is the reloading god. Like,
He is.
He is.
Oh,
He is.
shit, yeah.
I've learned a lot actually through the beard of wisdom.
Mate, he's got his own fucking metric system. He's got his own units of measurement. That
yeah,
guy.
dead set. So when it comes to talking down your stock, when you're putting your barreled action in a stock, you've got Steve Newton meters, you've got like your inch pounds on your regular torque wrench, and then you've got Steve Newton meters, which are where he just grabs it and you just watch his knuckles, and when one of his knuckles pops, he's like, yep, that's right. And dead set, all of his rifles are tightened like that. There's no torque wrench when it comes to like tightening his actions, and he is shooting like fingernail sized groups on fucking every single one of his rifles, and they're all shooting like
I've never
stupidly
seen
tight.
anyone with as accurate a shot as that dude.
I've never heard anyone with like better sayings than him.
Oh, man,
yeah.
he's
He calls a
champion.
ticker a tweaker.
He named so
He's like, I got my tweaker.
he's named both of my rifles.
Picture.
So I've got my go-to deer rifles. I've got a 223 AI, so an Ackley improved, and he calls that the Smackly. And then I've got my Bagara, which is called the Burgerer. With a deep low voice, because you know it's gonna fuck up a deer, because you know you're gonna find with the bucks where they are.
He sounds American and he's 100% Australian. Like his accent.
And he intentionally misnamed stuff, not like Josh.
Oh no, he doesn't have dyslexia or dyslexia. He's not disabled like Josh. He just chooses to be like this, and it's a thing of beauty.
It
What do you
is.
call Bagara? Bagheera or some shit?
Oh, it's
Gar.
the burger.
Oh, now you say it right.
Oh no,
That's the burger.
no.
Bagara.
Josh calls it
Burger.
what's it? The Bagheera. Bagheera.
Bagheera or a Bagheera, I've heard him say.
Yeah, but
Same
according
as
to Steve,
aluminum.
it's a burger.
A burger.
Yeah, like you're gonna hold that whopper meat in your mouth. Oh yeah. Yeah. So according to him, I've got a burger and a Smackly. The Smackly improved.
Actually, I've got to go around and see him, do some more loading.
Yeah, your loads
That's
weren't
right.
quite singing, but then again, you've still got a few grains you can play with, because you're loading along, so your pressure signs will be quite low.
My standard deviation on the 45.5 grains for the 308, they weren't too bad. 9.5.
Yeah, then again, like so in my
Max 30.
my Bagheera, my SDs were a 6. So
Yeah,
but
that's-
that was a grain heavier. So
I'm sorry, you were sucking six dicks. It says
look, you can say that, but who wasn't at the range to try a rifle that didn't exist?
Yeah, this is.
Yeah,
this
that's
is-
what I thought.
Yeah, thank you.
Just settle down, mate.
You've put Ryan in his place there.
I
Only
don't
one
even
of
know
us
what
who
you're
wasn't.
talking about. So
So I'm saying that I'm
not
not.
over my head, man.
So look, I'm not even sure if we're allowed to say it, but I'd say so, because there's some guys in the shooting community that are using it. But we got to test out a 223 pump action rifle that's coming out from a well-known ammunition and rifle manufacturer here in Australia, and we got to test it out, give some solid feedback on it at the range on the Monday on the public holiday, and it was.
did.
It was
Good
interesting
fun.
to use it. It was very different to what we've used before, because like the majority of us have got bolt action and a couple of lever action rifles. So using a pump was something different and quite cool.
What was the scope that was on it?
So it was a 1-8 Nico Sterling, which funnily enough, most people are going to go, oh yeah, Nico Sterling. But it was actually it was a very crystal clear scope to look through, and yeah, you could nail the target with it, no worries whatsoever. So
Yeah, it was neat. Dedicated pump action. It was, yeah.
It was a prototype,
It's a-
though. So you've got to
yeah.
give it a little bit of
I'm-
fudge factor.
There's some things that yeah.
But
could be
like,
changed.
this
So look,
whole concept of a pump action that you're using to like? What is the range that we're talking about here? I mean,
Well, no, like
1 to
realistically,
8.
like we were at 100 meters and you could see it very easily nailing the 100-meter target. And we were all like, we didn't adjust the power on that scope. So we're just looking through one power on that.
So when you're racking your round, could you hold target?
Yes.
Yeah, because we had a target that was probably, I don't know, 2 foot by 1 foot wide. So you could very easily hold within your target. So for instance, if you're using it for culling purposes on animals that you're allowed to shoot at, then if you're on the move, you could very easily hold over with them with that scope and make consecutive shots and follow up shots, because being 2 to 3, so it was actually chambered in 2 to 3 wild, so it can shoot 5, 5, 6, 1, 2, 2, 3 very easily through it.
It's
Was
good DD gun.
Yeah, so it was very easy. Like you could make a very easy follow up shot. So if you're on the back of a ute and you're moving and you're on a cull, you could very easily make multiple shots on.
Yeah. Did you have the scope wound right out to 8?
Yeah, no, it was on
No, it
one.
was on
Like,
one.
all of us
Yeah,
shot
it was
on
on
one.
one.
We didn't even
We all
zoom
shot
it
on
out.
one.
Yeah, it was very
But-
clear.
But you could very
So you
easily
might as well
see.
go with the red dot.
But you could no, because then you've got the extra power if you want to go further, or if you want to get that better, more precision. But the thing is, because we're shooting on a target that was about 2 foot by 1 foot, which if you're thinking of what we regularly cull, which is
true.
I don't know. I don't know if I can say it on here.
Roo
but-
deer, like,
all right, cool.
fuck.
Yeah, well, there. If you're on a roo,
if you're on a cull.
if you're on a roo cull, which you can legally do here, then yeah, if you're on that one power, you can very easily make multiple follow up shots at 100 meters. No worries with it.
Mate, most of the roos that we shot have been excess of 100 on roo culls, I reckon.
Nah.
Nah, look at night time it always looks way further, but in realism,
70 meters.
you're well under 200 meters every time.
Yeah, 70 to like $1.50, I reckon.
I don't reckon I've ever shot like I don't say it ever. I think majority of the shots I've taken, which could be just happenstance, but like I mean, fuck, I was shooting out to 300 and something meters on the last cull that we were on.
Oh, not
So,
not
I
to say that they're not out, and you could get to 300 meters with the system. There's no.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just got a thing against pumps and scopes with me. Just don't feel right.
Well, the thing is, because it's actually a very lightweight setup, so you could pump because the thing is, we were all running it quite quickly because we were just pumping it into a target, having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were like actually aiming for it, you could very easily just and then hold over, get on target, and then pull because it's.
Yeah.
Should we get Ryan up to speed? Let's get Ryan up to speed.
Oh, you got videos of
I've
it.
got a video. I'll play it and you can hear the audio.
So funnily enough,
This is the first I've actually. Ooh. Is that catchy?
that sure is
It's
catchy.
shooting like catchy as well.
And that is the terrible sound of
And
everything
can I
vibrating.
have a closer look?
What-
Is
what
that
can-
a tube mag or is it?
No, they're a regular
it's a
detachable.
10-round mag.
I can't actually see it from
No,
where
so
I'm looking.
it's like an AR style platform, but it's a pump action as opposed to a semi-auto with the
that
bolt above
looks
the stock at
fucking
the back.
sick.
It's affordable too, or
Yeah,
will be
so-
affordable.
It will be affordable.
So in comparison to the only thing that's really on the market that's like you got the Remington pump. What is it? 2615.
760.
You've got the Warwick and the Oceana, which are probably
which are around double the price of what that's going to come out at in the next few months' time. So there's nothing on the market that is coming in at that price
fucking cool.
with that accuracy. So it's kind of in a field of its own. But bringing up Couchy, he has just purchased himself a 223 Howler.
Fucking look at this bloke taking over the podcast.
No, I'll just stop talking. I'm just going to fucking let him do it.
No, so a good mate of mine, Kyle, who works at a local gun shop of ours, he has got a 223 with a shot out barrel, and he's looking to move it on. It's in a MDT XRS chassis. It's a Howler action, as you get your dick out to fondle with.
How is the bees fucking? I keep telling everyone, bang for buck, get a fucking howler.
Look, I paid less than what you paid for your Howler for my Rem 700 223. So
I used the Couchy's. I finally got a shot out of Couchy's Howler actually on the weekend, and for an action, look, I'd buy something in its action. I'd fuck off everything else on it, but the action's fucking.
his entire setup is less than what your bear rifle cost before it got Cerakoted, before it got the brake on it, before you put the scope on it, everything. His entire rifle was worth less than the whole thing.
It shoots fucking
And it shoots pretty
worse
well
as well.
It shoots
it's not-
reasonably.
Look, it shoots
not-
well enough for what it is.
and
It's
it's
not
comfy.
an expensive rifle. It shoots well for the price you pay.
If he put a new barrel on it, bam, he'd have something going.
It probably doesn't even need a rebarrel. It probably just needs him to reload for it to suit it.
Yeah,
because if he
true,
loaded to suit that thing and works out where his nodes are, that thing will be a laser.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so he's just bought a 2 to 3, which he's going to it's shot out. It's a Hauer. It's in a XRS chassis. It's shot out. It needs a rebarrel. And yeah, that's his new purchase. So we're going in to see.
He sold his $650 golf club.
Yeah,
Who the
for
fuck
it.
is buying a goddamn golf club for $650 fucking dollars? You should slap yourself.
Shannon.
a guy with a last name that's a fucking lounge suite.
Couch.
Couchy. We love him. Anyway, well, why don't we do what we normally do with all our guests and get back to where it all started for you, Hayden. So where did your love of the outdoors all begin? Are we talking when you were a kid? Are we talking the last couple of years? How did it
When
happen?
did you hug your first tree?
I probably would have been climbing the bottle brush out the front of our place in Balaclava from about 3.
A bottle brush.
Yeah, like one of the bottle, like, the ones like the red weird.
No, I know what a bottle brush is, but they're not very big trees.
No, in Balaclava, they're everywhere down the streets there, and they're probably, I don't know, about 10 metres tall, like enough for like a 3 to 5 year old to climb and have their parents freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I'd always climb that because you could get up to about, I don't know, 3
metres.
It probably
3
felt.
metres, yeah.
It probably felt 15 metres off the ground, but as a 5-year-old, 3 metres off the ground was like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially being that it was directly in front of our house. So like, I'd climb that, and I'd be the coolest kid in the neighbourhood. But we had a park across the road from us, and we'd made a rope swing with an old tyre there, as most people do.
Yep.
So yeah, we had that typical one there. But
You got to roll, you got to swing.
we used to throw rocks like across the street because like I had neighbours directly across the street from me, and we would like skip rocks at each other. And then, then it would become like you'd skip rocks as a car would coming, and we all got in so much trouble from hitting someone's car one day. Like it was an old, I want to say it's like a TD5 Land Rover. He jumped out and he lost his shit at us because he ran the local food land in Balaclava, and every single kid in the street got in trouble that day. Like he was knocking on doors like yelling. He wasn't out for blood. He just wanted to kind of like scare us into like you can't throw rocks at cars. So it was like you go get your parents, and you get your parents, and then he'd have like the most civilized conversation with like, hey, I was just driving down the street and like there's kids throwing rocks at the cars. Can you get your kid? You get the kid. You were throwing rocks at my cars. Why would you do that? And then leave it up to you to explain why. Yeah. And then like that was the more scarier thing than being told off, because it's like if you can't work out how to justify what the fuck you were doing, it was so much worse. But he didn't care because it was a bush pig. It had back then it had like big mud tyres and lifted, which compared to these days is not much, because back then 4-wheel drives weren't really the thing. Yeah. But it was enough to like scare you kind of out of doing it, and that was what he was about, because he wasn't after blood, because he ran the food land. He was a real nice guy, but it was more just you need to stop doing that because you're throwing rocks at people's cars.
It's a teaching moment.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But that was the last of what you'd get from like this generation, because like the people coming forward now, it'd be an offended Karen going like, oh, you threw a rock at my Mazda CX-5 and I'm upset. But no, it was more just him going like, look, I did dumb shit when I was a kid, but why did you do it? Because the thing is, it leaves that up to you, because dead set you'd stand there like a deer in the headlights going, why the fuck were we doing it?
Oh, it makes you question that. That's just fucking parenting technique right there.
That's
That's what that is.
because he was familiar in the community. He knew what he was doing when he was asking the question, because he wasn't out to do anything stupid to us or make an issue with the parents, because he knew that it was kids being kids. So it was more just he wanted to question us as to why, because we had to see him every day, because you'd always be up the main street getting like milk and bread. You couldn't avoid the guy, so he just wanted to know why.
That is the best way. That is the best way to talk to a child, is make them think through.
Yeah.
Why did you do
it?
Fuck it. You don't just yell at me like, you did this wrong. Fucking, and they're like, oh, okay, note to self, don't throw rocks because I got yelled at. Not think about it and go, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that because it might damage a car.
Well, on the flip side of that, he had a property that had so there's a common spot out near Balaclava called the Rocks, and everyone go to the Rocks Reserve. However,
ironic.
He had private property that had like a bit of river running through it, and he was more than happy for us to camp out there and do all that kind of crazy stuff. So it was more like instead of doing it in the middle of a street, if you want to go do it, go out on a weekend and go do it and have some fun. And he would go out there with his kids and let you do it. But then on the flip side of that, I remember about 3 weeks later, we happened to be at Foodland, and he'd ridden his Harley in to work. And he was leaving as we'd finished our shopping and asked me, "Oh, do I want to go on the back of it?" And it was at that point where I'm like, "Oh, he's not upset at the stupid things I'm doing. He's more like, well, what you did there, it wasn't the right place, the right time to do it. He'd give you the right place and the right time to do it out on his own property. But then, all right, if you want to go for a ride on the motorbike, we'll take you for a ride on the motorbike." And that was like the typical country living way of dealing with things.
That's a dude who actually gives a shit. I think it sounds like he could be a good mentor. You know, like doesn't rail you for just being a kid, but makes you think about what you're doing, but then doesn't hold it against you.
Yeah, because like people of his age, like they would have done all the stupid stuff that we did as kids as well. So he understands like the mentality behind like, oh yeah, kids are going to do stupid shit. But it was also this is a learning opportunity, but it's also it's not I'm going to hound you and I'm going to have a grudge. It's more just to make you think as a 5-year-old kid about, well, why'd you do it? And I tell you what, the amount of like basic life lessons I learned growing up in Balaclava was insane, because I said, yeah, my first job was in the raking yard, but the first thing that I did, it wasn't exactly a job, but me and my grandmother were a volunteer at the local museum. So there's Erwin Park Museum Balaclava where it's almost like a men's shed considered thing now, where they'd have like a whole bunch of people, they'd come down, they'd donate their time, they'd restore like old farm and agricultural equipment, and then open it up to the public to come. Like you give $1 or $2 donation, you go look at like all sorts of old stuff, whether it be old tractors, cars, pianos, equipment, like everything and anything that's just old, like not part of like today's society. You can come have a look at it, and it was a pretty cool experience, because that's how that's probably like my stepping stone into getting into mechanics, because as a 7-8-year-old kid, they'd have me pulling down like 2-3 horsepower motors and rebuilding them, putting them back together, painting them, doing everything step by step to make them go from a rusted out old piece of equipment that you'd send to scrap to a functioning motor that they could put on display for a group of school kids to come through.
Mate, that is awesome.
And that was my stepping stone into getting into automotive in regards, because I'd get a rusted out, because it started off at the start. They're like, what do we do with a 7-year-old? Because I'm the youngest member of that museum, and there's no other kid that has come in that's been younger than me. They've had a few people in their teenage years, and they don't last very long because they just don't know what to do. But they had me in there from a very young age, rebuilding, restoring these motors. So my mother worked in the hospital there, and we had a lot of her friends that would donate things, and they donate them through us. So I would take them in with me on my Saturday morning at the end of the week, and I'd go, oh, this came from this person, and it's whether it be an old light off an old car or just something real basic, and then I'd take that with me, and that was like my project, because then it would, depending on whether like what the condition was, it would either be all right, this goes in here as is condition, and that just goes on a shelf, and it's like people can look at that, or it's that requires a restoration. So now that's your restoration project. So I'd be polishing a headlight housing, or just cleaning out some glass, or putting a new light in it, and then making up for a plug that we had electricians that would come in to make things safe, because obviously you can have old things, but they need to be up to standards for someone to come and look at. So then they'd come in and they'd commission them so that they'd be safe. So then I'd just do the clean out process to make them make them look good for someone to come looking at. And that was a big thing in regards to getting me into the automotive industry, because I was rebuilding motors for weeks and weeks, like all just these little stationary motors, like the ones that you'd now see on log splitters and water pumps and all those sort of things, but just old school. So they're super basic, real easy to work with. And I'd rebuild them, I'd paint them, you'd acid bath them to get all the old, like the rust and stuff off them, take them back to like raw metals, and then you'd be able to prep and paint them from there.
So that led you into getting into vehicles, obviously. Then you started a bit of a passion for full driving.
Well, they had me. So, for instance, every time we get a new tractor, we'd have to make room in one of the sheds for them. So the tractors would go from having a 3-foot span to then a 2-foot span. So every tractor needed to be moved. So, for instance, from a young age, they taught me how to drive a tractor, which was just at 7-8 years old, you wouldn't fathom being able to drive an old mechanical manual tractor. It's just something so amazing. So they'd have me. So some of the tractors, they would only start up for like special occasions when they had people come through or whatnot. So like quite often it would just be me sitting there, a few of the older guys pushing the tractor while I'm steering it. So I very quickly learned how you move a tractor in one direction and then turn it back in the other direction, and then it becomes closer. So you learn the basic aspects of driving. So we're moving all these tractors around, and you bring in an old tractor, and then the old tractor's like, that's the next restoration project. So then, I might have something basic, just like here's an engine cover. You have to like prep it so that it can be painted, and then you help one of the old guys paint it. Or, for instance, we had a few paddocks that were donated to us because all the money that they'd make from the paddocks from hay baling would go directly into the museum. Then it's like you'd be out there baling, or you'd be counting. Like, for instance, I was always the bale counter. So when bales would be getting put on a trailer to sell, I had to stand there and count each bale as it got put on the trailer. And it's just something basic like that. But you're up there sitting on which back then felt like 50 meters high of bales, but you're only sitting on like 10 bales high. So you're sitting like 4 or 5 meters off the ground, and you'd be counting as the bales getting put on the trailer. And it's just the most basic things ever. It was. It really
Mate,
cool.
that's learning outside of the classroom. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, all of them were so open to it because the majority of the members there were well over their 60s. We had a few guys that would pop up that were in their like 30s and 40s, but majority of the people were like well past retirement age, and it made the museum was like kind of dying off because they're all older guys that are in retirement, and as they it was quite sad because a lot of the guys had passed over the weeks. Like you'd see members drop off because they pass away, and there's no new members coming in. And there's me sitting there as a 7-8-year-old going, well, what are we doing this week? And just the amount of things that I got to see and learn and do. Like we were moving. We got donated a shed. We had to move the entire shed on a flatbed truck and then put stilts under it and set it up, and then we had an open day for it. And the amount of things that I got to see there that most kids my age would never have seen in their life.
Mate,
it was such a cool experience.
Kids need to be in that sort of environment where they are seeing things and counting things and pulling things apart and building things and learning what's going on mechanically around them. The trouble that I've found with my son is everything's on a fucking screen. And that's the future for sure. The future is programming and being able to be immersed in that sort of world. But the programming correlates to a mechanism.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand the basics of mechanics and mechanisms and how that works.
Yeah, I can relate with that with, for instance, I worked in fire protection. So I'm now an electrician. So I worked in fire protection for a long time, which is another aspect of electrical. And that's exactly what it's like. So you have a computer program that controls a electrical panel, which has a bunch of relays on it, which control mechanical things that are working in a live environment. Whereas if you have something that goes off, you could be setting off a sprinkler systems. For instance, we had one big site, which was the central market. You couldn't have a sprinkler system just setting off in the central market because you got hundreds of people, if not thousands of people going through there. So it was such a cool, because I've seen all the jumps from fully mechanical to like slightly electrical to electromechanical over the years. And because I had the basic understanding of the mechanical from back in the day, it makes all the things that I do now that are electromechanical make so much more sense. Whereas there's guys now that are coming up that have never seen the mechanical side of things, and they just see the electrical mechanical side of things, and they struggle to get their hand around how an electronic device and computer equipment can control something that's so basic. But it's because I've had the basic understanding of something that like jumps through. You can understand how it works in today's systems. So it's just such a crazy jump to watch how something from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s is so similar to something we have today, but we have our new school spin on it. It's insane.
The only difference is that there's a computer telling it to do it instead of someone pushing a button.
Here's one for you. Do you think there will be a time where everything's automated and robotic, and then we lose the skill set of understanding the fundamentals of basic mechanical procedures, and then society has a point of bliss and then a point of confusion when shit starts fucking up?
Nah.
And then
So I don't think it will, because at the end of the day, you can have robotics doing things all day, every day, but when the robotics fail or there's issues along the way, you always need the technician that understands how.
Yeah, but if there's
work.
no kids sitting on a hay bale or sitting on a tractor learning basics anymore, because it's all like they're actually trialling, like with farming equipment, essentially drone tractors.
Yeah, look, the issue with that is, so for instance, my partner, she works for a John Deere dealership, and they're having a lot of issues with customers with their automated systems on their tractors having issues because of the Ukraine war. with Putin taking down a lot of the satellites. They're having issue with tractors being able to automated drive through paddocks.
So they can't triangulate their.
Yeah, because they can't get their GPS locations and they can't have the vehicles automated working. So then the people that are sitting behind the wheel that are used to just sitting there enjoying their past pasties and making their OnlyFans accounts, they have to actually operate the machinery. And a lot of them don't know what they're doing because they're so used to all of the tablets and automated systems.
Well, they're also no longer basic, man. I mean, those tractors that you were sitting on had, a gear selection, fucking forward, neutral, and reverse.
Yeah, look, you say that, but the thing is, even the new tractors these days, they're an option. Like, they don't automatically come with all those automated systems. They're an option. So
but most guys are going to do it because the productivity level and the accuracy.
And the accuracy, yeah. It's the accuracy is the big thing.
Yeah, I mean, suddenly you're getting overlap or pinpoint accuracy on each fucking run.
Yeah, but a lot of the people these
wastage.
days, it's the same with shooting in a way. It's the brain behind the rifle. It's the guy behind the tractor. That's the issue. Because
But a lot of reloading is, and that's where we've gone to because of our tech on bullets and powder and et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of shooters these days aren't getting into reloading. So, and they don't know the intricacies of reloading because they don't need to because, they just buy bullets.
A perfect example of that is we were at the range on Monday. Like, we just had a public holiday and there was a guy that's been sold a rifle by a known gun shop. And he is a left-handed shooter. It's his first rifle. It was a Tikka T3X Light in 270. Now, that's a reasonably recoiling rifle in a very light setup.
It's quite a hefty recoil for a light setup, man.
But he's in he's a left-hander and he's in a right-handed action. And the gun shop has knowingly sold him a poor setup. But we've also had a mate that all of us know sold a caliber that you cannot get components for, again, sold by a local gun shop.
But that's what I mean. Is those the fundamentals being lost, man?
You need to know. So if you were sold on something, like you can have a salesman tell you everything under the sun. It sounds amazing, but at the end of the day, if you don't understand the basics behind that and the building blocks that go behind it, you can go down the wrong rabbit hole very quickly. As we've seen with our mate, we've seen with like the guy at the range, which is quite sad to see because the shooting community is very small in South Australia, let alone in Australia wide. Yet the gun shops, we don't have a lot of shops here. So as soon as something goes wrong, you hear about it very quickly.
Oh,
so,
you do.
But then you see people going down the wrong rabbit hole and push down the wrong rabbit hole, and it's quite prominent, and it's sad to see because we're trying to grow the shooting community. We've got over a million licensed shooters here in Australia now, and we're still having these sort of issues happening when we should all be coming together to try and because obviously we've got firearms against us in every state. Like it's a sad thing to see, but they're against us because they say that every licensed shooter is a massacreist in the making potentially, and it's sad to see because we're not. We're just normal people that we like to have a lifestyle. It's no different to having old mate wanting to play footy on the weekend.
Well,
we want to go out for a shoot on the weekend.
You've made the jump here, Hayden. So how did you actually get into shooting? Because you're pretty well versed. You've immersed yourself in the shooting community.
I sure have immersed myself.
So
Why is that a joke? I've got to understand.
All right, so I can give some context on this. So
go on.
So I've been, obviously, as you would have heard at the start of this podcast, I've been following Centre Mate for a long time. I've been mates with all the boys, and I've been connected in some
weird ways,
peculiar ways, we'll call it, to the guys here. But so Josh had a property up in the hills, and I was quite often working with him. I'd lost my job during COVID, as a lot of people did, unfortunately. So I was just helping him out as a yard hand on his property. And he had a CZ 455 precision trainer, and I love shooting the thing. So we're quite often shooting 22, 50 meters, 85, 75. Like it was such a great feeling when you can like knock off a 22 shell at 50, 60 meters. And
You'd come over, when you had your license, you'd come over, use it, and I wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I would kind of rock up and just shoot on Josh's property regularly with my 22, which was a nice rifle. But Josh was definitely a big part of me because in getting into firearms, we'll say.
That's what she said.
There was
Before,
a joke.
like,
I was
look,
about to get all over that.
I've got Caleb staring into my soul, ready to say something sex pesty. But so Josh was the one that immersed me into the shooting community, and from there, it's so I come from a background of camping a lot. So every school holidays, my grandma, like from about 5 years old, she would take me to all different places around SA. Like if you name a place in SA, like to camp or to go forward driving, I can near guarantee I've been there because we have done all of South Australia and we've barely tipped outside of it because we've done just about every track you can name in South Australia. Good. Because so my grandmother, she drove a troopy up until her late 60s because, she's a trooper. But there's none of this like King's advertising. You don't need all the awnings and drawers and shit. She bought a $15 filing cabinet from a local second-hand shop, thrift shop, whatever you want to call it. She bought that. She threw that in the back of her troopy, which was it was just a factory 4.2 litre. It had skinny sprillet rims, and she drove every track in Australia, including the Canning stock route, which if anyone knows anything about forward driving, the Canning is one of the hardest tracks in the world. Wow. It's one of the most remote tracks in the world. And she did that in her Land Cruiser with a very basic setup.
Wow.
And she could file anything like a champion.
Exactly, with a filing cabinet, she's got you covered. No, I still remember the middle drawer. It always had the black and gold 2 minute noodles because that was my staple diet when we were camping.
Oh, mate, that was my staple diet growing up.
No, that was amazing. But yeah, she got me into the lifestyle. We had so many nights where we'd be camped out. So the side of the troopy, we had a rail system like most awnings have on the very end of them these days, where you can slide a tarp into them. Like if you have the rope attached to the tarp. So we had that across the entire side of the troopy, which would connect also to an A-frame and the bull bar. So the entire side of the car, including up to the bull bar, over the bonnet, would have a large tarp over it. We'd put a few posts up into that to hold it upright, and we'd sleep out on camp stretches under the stars. And that was how we slept. We had multiple sleeping bags because, again, you didn't have these ridiculous sleeping bags. You just had a couple of run-of-the-mill sleeping bags. You put a few of them together, and an old sheepskin, and that would always, I never had a cold night out there as a kid. Never once was I cold. So we'd sleep under the stars. Quite often, there's one very big trip that I'll never forget over my life, and we did across the Nullarbor, but we were along the train line. Yes. So most people do across the Nullarbor, take the bitumen over there, and it's a run of the mill trip. Whereas we went the dirt track along the train line. So he was my grandmother's companion. They were never a partnership. They were travel companions because he'd lost his partner to cancer, unfortunately. So he just wanted a travel companion.
Oh, so just mates.
Yeah, they were fantastic friends. They've travelled around the world together. They've done all these trips together. They're fantastic companions. And yeah, so he was known as my Uncle Mitch. Shout out to him because he's a fucking fantastic bloke. And he would take us on these trips. And one of his sons worked the railways. So whenever we were camping along the railway, we would radio into him, tell him where we were, and we get to see these freight trains or interstate passenger trains come past, and he would always give us a toot because we give him our GPS coordinates. So we'd always get to see all these trains. We know when they're coming through. But the amount of nights we'd have sleeping out under the stars, like these days we've all got swags or we've got rooftop tents or all these fancy bullshit.
Speak for yourself.
You have a swag, do you not? Yeah, exactly. So shut the fuck up. Thank you.
Who's rocking a rooftop tent?
Well, no, as in campers these days, it's like the general go-to is either
who's
a
rocking
swag.
a camper or anything.
Yeah, most people
He's
are
immersed. He knows what the popular culture is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Very immersed.
So people have got these crazy camping setups. And we just sleep under just like one of your super cheap auto $17 tarps on a camp stretcher with a piece of sheepskin over you. And you get to see the trains go past. You get to see the stars. You'd cook damper in a pot over the fire, and there was no. Look, I had a Game Boy Advance. For those that know what that is.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I had that to last me the trip. There was no car charger. So
Got a PlayStation. How do you plug that into your TV?
No, it's a Game Boy, mate.
You don't.
You run
There's-
that
there's-
fucker
Listen,
on
Josh.
batteries.
There's no
Game
plug-in.
Boy.
There's no plug-in. So the thing is, you got that to last you. So for instance, we would never go just to school holidays. It would either be a week before or a week after. So usually be a 3-week trip.
Is that like one of those Tetris handheld things?
No, it's like a
Game Boys existed
it's-
when we were young as well.
Look,
I never had a Game Boy.
So my first Game Boy was called the SP, the Advance. So that would flip. But the thing is, that was you could charge it when you were at home, and that was it. So you had around 8 hours of battery life for 3 weeks. So as soon as that was dead, you'd lost your electronics. But the thing is, I didn't care. So 9 times out of 10, that would just stay in its box because we'd be looking out the windows because So this was more of like a intellectual thing my granny would play, but it would be she would explain to us what the native lifestyle or trees or whatever were, and then an hour or two later she'd ask us about them. So like for instance, there was always like a purple flower around a lot of the places we travel, like down the southeast. It's called Salvation Jane, which is poisonous to horses if you didn't know. So for instance, she would tell us that, and then not say anything about it for a few hours, and she'd ask, "Oh, what's that out the window?" And if you could answer it, she'd have like some sort of treat or lolly.
Jelly beans.
Dead set. She'd have
Flick you an almond.
she'd have like a handful of lollies or like one of the
original.
You know, the little trolley lolly packets that have like little what are they, like lolly hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, she'd have one of them for us, and it would just be like just an educational thing, or like
That's dope.
she'd do
the
all
exact same thing.
yeah, she'd do all those sort of things with us. Like for instance, like if I could pick like the brand of truck that was coming past, like I could always pick like the bright yellow. Usually they're a road train with 3 tankers on the back of them. They're always Kalari. And if like for instance I could see one, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a Kalari truck coming. Like I always knew like, oh yeah, that's a lolly coming my way. And it was like the most like easiest. Like I've got this. Like there's a lolly for me. But it was the way, and
Hence the diabetes. He was good at his game.
Nah, it's COVID, mate. Like,
Sorry.
let's not get back on that fucking tangent. But yeah, so like she'd really like give us a different perspective than what a lot of kids would get, because we would disappear for a week of school and then the whole holidays and go do these things, and that's what got me into the lifestyle, because I wasn't out there with a whole bunch of other kids to go do things with. Like for instance, when we were going across the Nullarbor on the train line, it was up to me to go like work out what something fun was. So one day there, I'd stacked a bunch of railway sleepers together, and then I'd found an old piece of welded Rio together, which to me looked like an MP40. So I'd like set it up between a bunch of pieces of railway sleeper, and I was back in the trenches at World War II.
I've got a question for you. For someone as a child was on the road, would you say that
Here we go.
you were successful in your childhood, socially, and
It wasn't
and
on the road all
intellectual?
the time.
This was in the holidays, man.
All right, well,
Intermittently.
look, if you want to get it from that perspective, which I know we're like what tangent you're going down.
I think someone's trying to find justification.
So look, whenever I could find other kids to be friends with, yes. But if you want a perfect example, I'll give you one where I couldn't give a fuck about anyone else. We were at Narracourt and we were at a logging place, and there was just like they had we drew on, like it was very cheap. It was a paid tour of like this logging. It was it was Nangmori, and it was like a big logging place where they like would log pine. Now everyone else was on the tour, and I'd fucked off and climbed into one of the excavators. So I'm like, this logging excavator is fucking sick. So they're freaking out because like, oh, this kid's gone missing. And I've just climbed up in one of the logging excavators. I'm sitting there just like, it's obviously all decommissioned, but I'm sitting there playing with the controls and being like, this is amazing, because like, you know, as a 7-year-old, this is the coolest shit I've ever done. And I couldn't give a fuck. There was so many kids on that tour, like because it was in the middle of the school holidays. So there's like heaps of grandparents taking their kids on these trips, because that was like the common thing back then in the early 2000s. And yeah, I just couldn't give a shit. I was just like, there's a fucking machine. I'm sitting in it and playing with all the controls that don't work, because who wouldn't? And then eventually, like an hour later, after everyone's freaked out, I've been sitting there just rolling in the.
See, you're probably a better bloke than all 3 of us at this table.
Yeah,
and
but-
he lived half of his childhood on the roads.
Yeah, but
School
do
holidays.
you want to know why I did all that shit? That's called ADHD.
No, but there's
Yeah,
not
my-
going to the fucking nitty-gritties, mate.
My brain has never ticked right. I've always been a little bit different, but the thing is, I've never stopped that from like letting me do things, because the amount of places we went to, like for instance, when we were down that way, we went to a shearing place, and I collected hat pins. So I've still got the hat because I'll never get rid of it. I've got it's a Pratt's Transport, because that was my dad and my uncle's old road transport company. So I have a Pratt's Transport cap, and it had all the little like perforated holes that were stitched into it. And I have hat pins from all the places we travelled from when I was about 6 years old, about 10 or 12 years old. So I've got so many hat pins all over that.
hell yeah.
And every single one of them has a solid memory. But part of what we had to do with then, like when we go on these trips, because if you took a week off school, they'd give you the school paperwork you have to do in that week. And quite often, because it would be, oh, you're on holidays, they'd give you like a revised thing, like where you just have to like keep an update of what you did on your holiday. So instead of that, Granny would go one step further and she'd give us a travel journal, and we had to write a full page about what we did each day. So I still have that, I still have multiple travel journals of all of our big trips we did.
And socially, when you got back to school after your trips, were you like swinging a little bit higher than the other kids because you were like, I had a fucking awesome time?
Oh, look, you got kids at school that go, oh, I got show and tell, like, oh, here's my rock collection. And then there's like me where it's like, oh, I've just done like 3,000 Ks on the road, and like here's a trip of like here's a direct travel doco of exactly what I've been up to, and everyone would love it. The teacher would be pissed because I could speak about it for hours, because you know what kids are like. They'll tell you every stupid little detail, like I found a stick and it looked like Keith Urban, like, you know, all the shit that you really don't need to know. And
sorry, man, I'm loving this.
I actually don't know what you think you're proving right now.
Well, no, I get it, because this is all about the whole like, oh yeah, you can just get a kid and you stick the cunt in a drawer, as I have a video of him saying. you don't need to buy him a cot. You just stick the cunt in a drawer and they can sleep in there.
I say it like that. I said stick the cunt in the drawer.
I literally have a video of you saying you just shove the cunt in the drawer, which we can save for later after the podcast. But yeah, I literally have you word for word saying you just open the drawer and you shove the cunt in it. That's your words. You don't need.
You say shove, as in you just put the cunt.
I think
in
it's
the drawer.
more about the cunt part, mate.
No, you
Just shove the cunt in a fucking drawer.
you said shove.
We've covered this on the podcast. The whole gesture of being called a cunt is
It's an endearing term. It's a loving term.
Well, actually, that's a bit of a digression from where you were out on the podcast, because in the podcast you said put him in the car, crack a window. It's a bit different
you
to
lock
shove
him-
the cunt in a drawer.
Yeah, lock them in there. But like, if we're going to go about cunts,
No, you don't
you're
close the drawer. You leave the drawer open so they can breathe. You're not a fucking Neanderthal, man. You just pull the drawer out, put a mattress in, a couple of blankets, put him in.
Stick the cunt in there.
Pillow.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a cot?
That is
No,
a cot.
yeah, you open the
It's a
drawer and you
cot
stick
on
the cunt in
floats,
there.
mate.
I mean, that's the OG cod. That was common
Yeah.
practice back in the
Yeah,
day.
it was.
For
But
a baby, but not a
we live in
toddler.
2022, bro. What do you need to fucking put a kid
Is
in
my
the drawer?
dad messed up? Because he slept his fucking first few years in a cot.
How many people has your dad run over?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Pointer's not a great example.
Not the best example,
That's a
bro.
What do you
dangerous.
mean? He's an outstanding gentleman.
He missed a shot at 30 metres and blamed it on the scope and overbore height. Like, look, what's up with that?
No, I said he probably missed because of scope overboard, but that's all
He's
right.
being kind.
Yeah,
This
look,
is
I heard the story.
But
Love your Pointer. Cheers to the D22.
Poiter's a champ. He's a true gentleman. But just to bring it back to what you were saying about kids and going to school, do you know what? I was on the same sort of page as you, where
Yeah, except you had a Delica, we had a Troopy.
oh mate, our Delica was the fucking tits. It was so good.
Yeah,
it was
but-
like
Yeah, but we had a Troopy.
goofiest fucking vehicle.
yeah, it was called the moon buggy though.
Yeah, but we heard you ran out of fuel and shit. Like, we never had that happen because it was a Troopy. Like, we
Ran out of fuel.
Yeah, about probably season 2, maybe late season 1. You told us all about it.
So he listens to our podcast, Ryan.
Yeah,
I don't listen to it.
I can go. I can start like spitballing the list of things I got sitting on my counter about like the things I got to
ran out
call
of
you out if you
fuel.
like. But yeah, you guys ran out of fuel. You were telling us all about it. You obviously didn't give a fuck, 'cause you can't remember. So
Well,
No, I'm just
no,
trying to
there's a
remember
lot of
which time it
alcohol
was.
that goes down.
I'm
when
just
we're-
trying to remember which time it was that I would have told you.
There's definitely some blank moments in the podcast.
Nah, mate,
'cause you're so
that
drunk.
Delica, like my dad loved that fucking van. It was like, and it wasn't like the base model either. It was like you know how you get in like a Tarago or something, it's like the bench seat that you fold down and then you go in the back.
Yeah.
This thing was like 2 seats, but it had the gap in the middle.
oh
So
yeah,
Yeah.
proper
it was a
luxury.
fucking deluxe fucking-
cab to back, yeah.
Yeah,
access,
but
yeah.
it was awesome because you'd get in.
Yeah, you could
and then,
throw
like,
shit at all your siblings really
oh,
easily.
fuck yeah. Oh man, there was always wars about who sits in the back and who sits
Yeah.
in the, and for some reason it was always like everyone wanted, because there's 4 of us, so everyone wanted to sit right at the very back in the bench seat. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, fuck, why wouldn't I just sit in the front seats? Because they had
Yeah.
like, they were reclining and you had like your fold up like head your armrests and all kinds of shit.
But when you're a kid and you're not fucking 10,000 feet tall, yeah. You
Yeah,
don't, you don't really care.
it's the
that's
same
the
as a
thing,
school
like-
bus. Like, you always want to sit on that
You wanna sit
back,
at the
back bench of the
as
seat,
far away
like
from
school bus.
authority as you
Yeah,
possibly fucking can.
No, I still want to.
Nah, well, like, dude, if I had it my way, I would buy a Delica and then turn that fucker into a
Wait,
camper.
if they came out with a full drive van, right? I would
what a Delica
fucking
is.
like a decent four-wheel drive van.
a Delica-
I'd be all on that.
So look,
drive
they
on
do
that.
make them. The issue is they're more based on the American market because there's a lot of guys going around converting their vans in America.
You can get four-drive Sprinters.
Yeah, but they're still.
The four-wheel drive conversion's a lot of money, man. If they came out with one standard,
No, they come out standard with the Sprinters, but the thing is they're very expensive here. Whereas you've got
I went into Merc and no.
They're
It was a conversion.
the equivalent, like they're the Ford. I think they're the F-250, but they're made into a van in the States, and they are like the shit in when it comes to vans. Because I've had a mate that spent 2.5 years in Canada, and he bought one for like $1,500 when he first moved over there, and you'd pay like 20,000 here for it easy because they just don't exist.
Yeah.
And he lived out of that for like 2.5 years. He's only just come back to SA.
Does he do like the whole stealth camping in fucking as well? So he say he's like on his way to Yellowstone or whatever, and he's pulling into a town, and he stop off at like fucking, I don't know, Carl's Jr. and sleeps in the car park, and it's all like full stealth.
Yeah, like usually he pulls up somewhere where he can like either if he needs to top up water or whatever, he'll stop somewhere that's like strategic for his journey. But yeah, exactly, he'll pull up in a car park somewhere, and that's where he stops.
There's apparently guys now going around like jobs of the security guards that'll go around and pull people up for fucking camping in a car park, man.
Yeah, so for instance, here in Oz, we've got Aussie camps? No, that's not the right. Wiki camps. Yeah, so you got wiki camps, which will tell you the places you can legally stop overnight. So
Dude,
you're like,
that
you
is
just
awesome,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're
but-
pulling into a town, say, and you know you get like you're refurbing your stocks, and then it's late, and you're like, I don't want to cook, or I'll go in for a meal. You get out, and it's like 10, and you've had a few drinks, and you're like, oh fuck, I'll just camp in the fucking car park. What can't you? Like, as long as you're not dumping grey water on the car park, who gives a fuck?
I agree with you on that aspect, but because he did it for so long, like he had an app because this was all early days when he was first over there that he was posting all this stuff. Like, whereas late days it's just like all about what he's up to. But yeah, he had a similar app which would tell him where he could and couldn't stop, and he would usually just pull up in play. Like, look, you can get away with a lot of like just random car parks and stuff because at the end of the day, if someone knocks on your door and you're asleep and it's dark, it's not illegal to, like, as long as it's not a place where you have,
as long as you're not violating parking laws.
Yeah, exactly. Most car parks you drive in will tell you how many hours. Like, it's usually like a 3, 4, 6, whatever hour car park. And as long as you're not breaching those laws, you don't have to unlock your door to look at anyone. However, he did say on a few of the places he stopped through South America, he was putting his seatbelts through his door handles and locking them back onto the seatbelt because there'd be people that try and raid you just to break into your van.
I've seen guys put those what are they, bolt locks on their like back tailgate and doors and shit.
Well,
just as extra security.
He would either put the seatbelts through and then back onto the seat, or put a ratchet strap between the two doors to hold them shut, which is what a lot of truckies do these days in prone areas where you can get broken into. Because then the thing is, they make a lot of noise trying to break in. And for instance, over there where you can legally bear arms, you can
someone's getting shot.
Yeah, you can give yourself enough time to bear arms and get ready to defend yourself if there was a requirement to do so.
Yeah.
But usually when a lot of people realise that, we can't quickly break into here, 9 times out of 10 they'll give up. But then again, my mate, he's similar size to me, big build, plus he was armed over there. So he never had any issues. But then again, he's one of the most stoned units ever. So he probably would have invited him in for a fucking coffee and a cookie or something anyways, because that's what he would do.
Man, I've been pretty on the YouTube videos of these dudes that camp out of their big Fords or Chevys and that out of the back, and they've got like the bed laid up, and they're going like into the mountains and things like that, and they're sleeping overnight in like sub-zero temperatures. And some of the shit now, man, they've got like your butane gas heaters, and man, it looks so cozy. They're eating like fucking. There's one kid, I can't remember his handle, but he's gotten into like gourmet cooking in the back of his truck, and then just like sleeping in sub-zero temperatures, and it is actually fucking interesting. Like, it's stupid watching someone fall asleep in sub-zero temperatures.
Hang on, you watch him fall asleep.
He films it all, man, and because we don't really get like, especially here in South Australia.
How long
like,
does it
you
take
pay
him to
money
fall
for this?
asleep?
No. Like, it cuts out. Like, it'll do like a minute of him going to bed, and then a minute before he wakes up.
that's when
He's
you
obviously
get the
set his
lube.
camera. But no, he like we don't get it here because over there'll be snow that's come through the sills and will lay on like the edges of the truck bed, or the windows will be all frosted up and like ice on the inside and things like that. It's interesting to see.
Okay. Okay, cool. Just watching dudes sleep in the car. Are they clothed? Do they have clothes on?
Can you see their feet?
Is there a subscription
They're in a
fee?
fucking sleeping bag, man.
Is there a subscription fee?
They're in a fucking sleeping bag, mate.
Is the
It's
website
not
called
porn.
OnlyFans?
It's not porn, mate.
Right.
You always go on a porn.
I can be honest. What I can see from over here, just over my left shoulder, is that the Bob Love rangefinder?
Yeah, man.
Can you just grab that for the listeners,
Oh, no, that's the case.
How'd you get a porn?
just in case?
I don't know. You're watching dudes fucking sleep,
Oh,
bro.
in context, it's like a minute before, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go to bed. Cool. It's fucking negative
I love how
fucking
you
40
tried to
outside," and
Take
then
the conversation somewhere
All right, now
else.
we're having two conversations on a podcast.
Yeah,
what
look,
the fuck?
As per the last 6 weeks on this podcast, we've got Batesy and Caleb just arguing about something where I'm trying to go down the hunting aspect because I did see the case.
Thank you for steering us to where our fucking subject
We need
matter
a-
Yeah,
should
look,
be.
I saw something that
just goes.
Yeah, look, I saw something very familiar to me, which is the case for which is known as a Boblov rangefinder. Now,
Oh, dude.
So-
So you put me onto that.
look, so
Absolutely.
myself and Ryan had quite a big day at work and had some beverages to refresh ourselves afterwards. And I was telling him all about this fantastic
Hydrate yourself.
hydration. Yeah, that's a fantastic way of looking at it.
I'm pretty sure we sank a whole bottle.
Yeah, hydration. As per tonight, apparently we drank all
It was
of.
like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were like, fuck it, let's have a drink.
Apparently, we drank all of Grant's triple wood, so that would be you, me, and Caleb because Josh can't get it up. But yeah, so
Grant's triple wood.
so I saw a Bob Love rangefinder pack, and I tell you what, for $90, they're not a bad rangefinder. I've had mine range at 865 meters against one of our other mates, very well known 2,000 yard / what's that, like 1,900 meters and something. I don't know, a well known Bushnell rangefinder. I've had mine.
A well-known brand, Bushnell.
Oh look, he paid a stupid amount of money for that thing because it's one of the better ones. But it's been pretty accurate. It's been within like a meter or so of every other rangefinder I've put up against. But yeah, it was about $90, and Ryan decided to buy one as well. However, on our last trip, every time I tried to pull that out to get a range on something, he just got fucking trigger happy and just.
Bit of that buck fever, tunnel vision.
The ironic thing is that I had mine on me as well. I was like, yeah, that fucking thing can stay there.
It didn't exist. It was
But
like shoved well up his Russell Coit.
Ryan doesn't have dialable turrets, so he's just Kentucky winding it if he does.
No, but now that I helped him put like a decent scope
Now I
on his
do.
rifle,
No, it's not dial. Is his Burris dialable?
Yeah.
no, it's not. Well, look, it's a cap dial. Like it's capped, but it is a dialable turret.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so they're not just a set. Put the cap on and forget. They are dialable, but it does have hash markings on there on the crosshair. But the thing is, being it's 243 and it's not a 308 or 65, they don't have direct meterage with the bullets, velocities, and whatnot to get you zeroed. So it's. So I'll speak on behalf of him. Got no fucking idea what he's on about. But pretty much
he's right.
he needs to go out to the range.
And
he-
shoot some distance.
Yeah, he
he
need-
get out of the range.
Yeah, so pretty much he needs to go out the range and shoot it with the crosshairs at different distances and work out what the hash markings work out to be and then put it in his flip caps because then he'll know that, say, for instance, the first hash marking is good for 143 meters and then, you know, you're kind of good because you've got like a minute of deer, you got a dinner plate, well, depending on the ammo, which if you're shooting those 87 grain VMAXs, they're going to be deadly for like dinner plate of deer.
But I did just pick up, well, you picked up the 58s for me, which will be.
Why'd you go lower?
Because the thing is, they're going to be like a 4,000 feet per second round or 3.8 to 4,000 in a 243 because it's going to be singing. But the thing is, it'll reduce barrel life, but it'll be such a fast round that if you're using them on small game or even on small fallow, it's going to be lethal. Because then again, look at my first fallow that I shot. That was with my 223 factory barrel, 1 in 12 twist with a 55 grain Game King off the shelf. That dropped in 4 meters. That was just done, one and done.
Yeah, so I got the lighter.
That was
I got the lighter pill though because it's
Fawn?
experimental ground.
Oh no, that was my first spiker I shot. The day that you and me shot our spikers, and then Poiter had the unfortunate misfire with his old 1937 rifle.
Bloody hell! This year's been a very big year.
That was last year, August. just for your memory, because I've got a memory.
Since last year.
Let's cut through the fucking noise here. Where was your first hunt? So you've gone from fucking plinking at Josh's place. Where did you actually go hunting first?
All right, so there's a bit of context to my first hunt. So I got invited out to the shotgun range to go clay target shooting with a known mate of ours who's been on the podcast, Richard Barker. Fantastic bloke.
Hey, bro.
Many years
He's more
of
like a
experience.
dad, so I should be like, hey,
Yeah,
Dad.
look, we got Camp Mum here on the podcast, but he is like our camp dad. Like he
is.
no, dead set. He's the one. He wakes up 15 minutes earlier than everyone
to make us coffee.
He puts the coffee on. He always makes sure everyone's fed. He's always got scallops or kippers or fucking whatever he's got. He's always got something, and he's always looking out for everyone because he's just a great bloke.
He is.
Including
But-
that almost inappropriate sense of humor for the jokes that he makes.
But yeah, so I was fortunate enough to get invited to the shotgun range that, as per a typical bait style, it was like, we're going out to Port Wakefield to go shoot some clays. And then
in an hour.
But before I knew it, we were 5 minutes from my house back in the time, which was just out past Waterloo Corner, to go on just off Port Wakefield Road, not at Port Wakefield, to go shoot some clays. So I met up with this guy, Richard, good bloke, and yeah, a couple of weekends of like destroying clay targets. He's like, would you have any interest in shooting deer? I'm like, well, I've never had the opportunity, but I'd absolutely love it. So he got us out around June or July. We didn't get to see anything, unfortunately. He put in some Ks, and then he's like, all right, well, that's the thing with deer hunting. It's never a guaranteed thing, which, you know, fair enough. It was still a great weekend. We had a fire. We had like plenty of mates and a few drinks, and it was a great weekend. But then I got invited out again in August, and it was actually a great time of my life because, you know, I'd hit some lows, and yeah, I got invited out, and I was lucky enough to we happened to bump a bachelor herd of 5 spiker, and both myself and Batesy managed to drop one. And we'd always talked about if we saw multiple, because it was myself, Batesy, and Poiter that were walking together, and it was if we saw a couple of deer, we would I believe it was shooters ready, fire, and then we were going to shoot, and then
Shooters ready.
Oh, God.
I believe that's what Josh had said, being that he's.
Shooter ready.
And then so we're looking at these deer, and we're all down prone in the grass, and then Josh just shoots. So I'm like, fuck. So he stayed prone because he's shot before, so he knew that he's on target, he's fine. He stayed prone. So I've come up to my knee, shouldered the rifle. First shot, wouldn't have been more than 35 meters. Bang, shot this deer, dropped within 4 meters. We're waiting on Poiter. Poiter had a hang fire, unfortunately, because it's a 2,000-year-old rifle with 2,000-year-old ammunition in it. Didn't shoot. Tried again. Bolted another one. Nothing happened. Unfortunately, we just got the 2. So we gutted them, packed them out on our backs, which you would see on the podcast. There is a video of us packing out those deer.
There is, and I'm going to justify myself here. So I got into the prone, and I was looking left, and I'm waiting for you to like shoot.
Look, to be fair, Josh did say, because he was in front of me by about 4 meters, so I was a little concerned about shooting over him.
And I don't really care.
But because at that point I'd never shot any like decent game species. I'd shot rabbits and stuff before off the back of the ute with the shotgun. That's very different to this. It was sitting there just going, well, I'm just waiting for the ready. But Josh saw his shot, had a fantastic broadside shot. Shot it was 308. That went for a bit of a run. And in the meantime, I've gone, well, fuck, like, here's my opportunity. Like, there's 4 more deer left. Poiter's going to shoot something, and I've got to shoot something as well. So I've just, so that I'm not shooting directly over, because I would have been shooting straight over his shoulder, like within inches. So I've come up to the knee, shoulder the rifle, 2 to 3, relatively light, taking the shot. It wouldn't have been more, about 35 meters, bang, it dropped. 55 grain Game King, which, as people say, 2 to 3 isn't big enough for a deer. Well, that was
Oh, shit.
Shot placement.
Yeah,
For shot placement.
it was. Look, it was. I don't want to toot my own horn, but my first deer, it was a perfect shot. It was just right where it needed to be. It dropped it within 4 meters, and so it was just a. To be honest, it was. I had so many emotions run through me because I had the excitement of the first deer, I had the sadness of the first kill. But then it was a realization of, well, we're doing a favour for the land and property owner because he's running sheep and cattle on his property. The deer are damaging fences. They're eating the feed for the livestock, and we are doing them a favour, and nothing goes to waste because I had I had my 2 dogs at the time, which we took everything. I took all of Josh's carcass. He took all of his meat. I took the carcasses of mine. I took the skin of mine and everything that remained, because I sat there, cut it all up into dog meat for everything that I couldn't eat, and everything I could was like cut up into chops or whatnot that I could use it for. So there was absolutely nothing wasted. And it was that moment where it was like, as much of the sadness as it was that we was taking an animal, it was a realization of, I've taken the meat and I haven't wasted a single thing. Like I took the head with me because I wanted to practice for if I were to get a trophy animal at some point. So I sat there for a few hours, like very slowly cutting away at the teeth and lips and stuff, trying to cape out the head if I were to get a trophy, which it wasn't. It was just a spiker. But it was a great learning experience for me, because I sat there for a long while just slowly doing it.
Yeah, it's expendable. Good practice, because if you fuck it up, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So nothing went to waste, because all the meat that came out of that too, that went to the dog. So there was.
I have to ask you. You mentioned like theoretically it's a sad moment, but now is that trigger pull a happy moment, knowing that you've got a freezer full of meat?
Well, fortunately for me, since then, that was the last time that I bought meat, was around August last year. And since then, the only meat that I bought, I can say, is bacon for the weekends we go away, because I have my indoor freezer is so packed full of venison that I can't fit anything in it. My outdoor freezer is overflowing. I currently have a sambar and a fallow buckskin sitting in my freezer ready to be tanned. I don't have any space. I don't buy dog food anymore. I've got some biscuits for my dog, but majority of his diet is made up of venison bones that are not for human consumption. So if there's like congealed blood or destroyed or damaged meat, like that's all just dog meat. So my dog eats all of that. So nothing goes to waste. The only thing that ends up being left out there is the guts, which is, unless you want to get.
No one's in that.
Unless you want to get liver pate or something for you, then that's getting.
You could use the guts, to be honest. Like the intestine ones for sausages and the cool fat for.
Look,
for
about the
cooking
only thing that I want to take is the fat, the fat that's around all of it. Like you could use that if you really wanted to, but there's.
I think deer fat. I think fallow deer is waxy as hell. Man.
Yeah, I'd much rather have pig fat if I was going to use a fat from.
But you could go like the heart, the liver, the kidneys. Like,
yeah, but I've
intestines, cool fat.
But the thing is, when you get a decent sized animal, you've got that much meat. If you were to pack it out, for instance, unfortunately, so being that I'm diabetic, myself and Couchy, we carried out our 2 bucks we got early this year, and I was struggling on my second because I'd crashed pretty hard because we hadn't had. Because we were actually on our way back to the car at that point, because it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and that's when we'd seen our 3 jump out of a area that we couldn't shoot, that was someone else's property, straight over the fence into the property we were hunting on.
Yeah,
which I was watching it happen, as unfortunately Josh was having some lower back problems, so he was held back by about 100 meters, and I'm watching them jump the fence, and I'm just sitting there with dinner plates for eyes, going, holy fuck! Like 3 bucks have just jumped the fence into like directly in my line of sight in my scope. And then him and Couchy have just walked up chatting, like, just shut the fuck up, get it down, there's a fucking deer, shut the fuck up. And then we've taken off our bino harnesses, because the 2 of them have had high bipods, and I've had quite a low bipod, and I couldn't even see them in my scope. So I've had to shoot off of myself and Couchy's bipod to give me the elevation that the 2 of them had with their higher bipods, because otherwise I couldn't see. The 2 of them had a shot, I couldn't see shit.
What bipod were you running?
Just a Chinesium special, which was
is that the eBay special? Same one I got.
Yeah, but that was the 6 inch.
Oh, it's a 6 inch. I've only got the 4 inch.
Look, that was actually pretty.
To my big one, which is the 13 inch.
That was pretty good, man. Because that was your first antlered animal. That was Couchy's first antlered animal, and to get all 3 of them.
Yeah, so we had a friend, Steve, who we did mention earlier. He was in another paddock, and he actually rang us shortly afterwards, going, "Oh, did someone shoot a buck?" Because he heard 1 shot, and we said, "No, that was 3 shots." And he said, "I only heard 1 shot." Because we had Josh count us down, and myself, Couchy, and Josh all got a antlered animal. I'd watched them jump the fence, and the 2 boys had rocked up. And we all got a reasonable head. Like Couchies was like semi worth mounting. Like it's not nothing compared to no. Look, settle down.
Settle down, Caleb.
Come on.
You fucking big old moose.
You fucking moose. Yeah. Look. For a first animal, like
That's
it was
the first animal.
It was a
Caleb.
fucking it was a
Caleb, you're fucked on every hunt you go.
it was a
on now.
nice head, but like one of their
Plenty more
mates,
species, mate.
one of their mates here, like he wouldn't even piss on that if it was on fire to put it out. So there's that. But yeah, we
Just
look,
with that, Caleb can't say that he can't. If he gets a big red, he can't say that that's his first red.
No, because I've shot a
So,
spiker,
so he's shot a spiker red before, so he's down 2 species.
Look, I'm
which
just
has made a lovely rug, by the way.
It does.
look. That's a nice rug.
It is. I just want to know, back onto the co-ord shoot, what was the system? What was the countdown? Was it just 3, 2, 1 shoot, or was it Josh's bullshit fucking shooter
No,
ready,
look, all right,
ready?
Let me tell you originally. So
Because that's the most confusing fucking thing.
all right, I'll tell you what actually happened because this wouldn't have come to air. But originally, Josh thought that the smaller fallow.
No, Couchy told me
No.
that's a
No,
chittle.
this is a load of shit.
No.
Josh thought. All right, I'll tell you. Do you want to just mute his mic so he can't talk shit?
Couchy had said that's a chittle.
No.
How the
Josh-
fuck is
Josh-
We can ask Couchy this because
Look,
I
it's-
heard it quite audibly. That's a chittle. I got behind
Look, it's-
the
it's-
scope and was like, where? Because I could only see two bucks. I couldn't see the third at this stage.
Fucking hell.
It's true.
So look, originally, Josh saw this one considerably smaller, which we found out was fallow, which he was convinced it was a spiker. Sorry, not a spiker, a chittle. So he's like, "Nah, I want to shoot the chittle. I've already shot a fallow." And I'm like, "Oh, look, I was the one that spotted him, so I should get to shoot." He's like, "No, I want to shoot it." I'm like, "Look, all right, no worries." So then I'd reshuffled to my spot to the higher point because I had the lowest bipod and I needed Couchy's bino harness to get the extra height, anyways. So then me and Couch were discussing. We're like, "Hey, like you just shoot the one on the left, I'll shoot the one in the middle." Like because through the scopes they looked very similar size. We're like, we don't really care because we could very easily tell who's got what. Well, yep, no worries. So Josh was going to shoot the chittle, and then we were going to take the 2 fallow. So then so it was a countdown: 3, 2, 1, bang. There was I'm not sure if it was me slightly behind the trigger or Josh slightly early on the trigger, but Couchy was bang on in the center.
Oh, it'll be Josh early.
So yeah, I'm not sure what way it was, but it was like Josh Couchy me, but it was all within like a fucking 15th of a second. But it was like, so Steve only heard one shot.
No, I think Couchy actually shot first because my shot was slightly off, and I did do the.
I was also slightly behind.
I said to Couchy because Couchy like, "Are we going on 3?" And I'm like, "Nah, ready, stand by fire."
Jeez, I hate that.
Although
I've done a co-ord shoot with you that works doing that. So
and
look,
Couchy was
Or you
like,
could
"Okay."
go 3, 2, 1, shoot.
this is as bad as I was
Look,
trying to do
the-
rock, paper, scissors.
The
to be
thing
honest.
is, like, it doesn't matter what bullshit you want to say. We had whatever the countdown. To be honest, I can't even remember what the countdown was. All I remember was, so I got locking turrets on my scope, pulled the scope up, 0.6, lock, wait for it, bang, watch my deer fall over in a few meters, and it was just like a holy fucking shit. And then there are, I believe, there's videos on the Set It Mate page of like the aftermath and like the us having our moment. But yeah, we all gutted them, loaded them up, like carried them back. And yeah, I was struggling because like, I hadn't had breakfast by that point, so I was having a little bit of a diabetic low as they hit. But yeah, still managed to carry back myself and Couchy's deer. Got them on the back of Steve's ute, got them at camp, put him in the tree, ended up skinning them all out. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Couchy decided not to mount his for a first deer, which would have been worth it for a first. For a first head, as Caleb sits there going like, "Whoa, what a fucking shit deer! I got a moose."
Which is going to be his opinion.
Look,
On everything now, yeah.
Look, he should have, but it probably comes down to coin. Like, let's not talk Couchy, but
Yeah, I suppose.
Um,
but who knows? Like, look, the thing is, you still got. So we all got our heads Euro mounted by our mate Hainsey. He cleaned them up for us for carton of piss, as the going rate is in Oz. So yeah, he cleaned them up, and I've got mine still sitting in the cupboard because my fucking kelpie, as we brought up earlier. So my spiker head that I decided to do the head on, that was sitting on top of my skin for about 3 months, and then one day I came home and that was smashed all through my house. So I've been a bit skeptical about it. So I put it in my spare room. And then one day I came home and he had climbed halfway up in the cupboard of my spare room. He was on top, like, so it's got a chest of drawers in the built-in wardrobe. He was on top of the chest of drawers in the built-in wardrobe, reaching up to try and get it at the very top of the shelf in the cupboard. So I'm
Well,
like,
you know,
fuck.
like they sell antlers for dog chew toys. And
Yeah, so no, he's got the taste for it and he's ready for it. So I'm just waiting. So I'm gonna get a head mount from our mate Duano who makes them, and that will be going on my wall.
did you cape it?
No. He makes the metal,
the
metal
skull
mounts.
hoof hangers, yeah.
So he's got that. But the one I got later this year at Haines's place, Duano is doing a chest mount on. So
He's got my head as well, actually.
Yeah, so he's doing a fair few,
he does.
mounts this year. So as soon as I get mine back from him, I'm going to get it with a hanger so I can hang my Euro mount and my chest mount next to it. So I'll have like it's no moose like Camp Mum got, but it's
who cares, man?
It's well and truly twice the size of my first one I got this year. So it's a decent head. So that'll be going on the wall, and then very next to it, I'll have a Euro mount next to it. So I've got my Euro mount fallow and my chest mount fallow. So. Yeah, my next hunt will be, hopefully, I've got a friend interstate who said they'll take me on a Samba hunt. So hopefully my next head will be a decent Samba.
Nice.
32-incher.
Dude,
that's reserved for
everyone's
me, mate.
first deer that they get should be like that's mine hanging up there, the red spiker.
Yeah.
Every first deer that you get goes on the wall because it doesn't matter whether it's massive points or whatever the fuck it is. It's a story, man.
Well, yeah, that's why I kept the head from my first spiker because like it meant something to me, even though it was like a tiny, like the head on it maybe had like 2.5, 3 inch spikes, but like I Euroed that myself, and yeah, unfortunately the dog took it.
Oh, dude,
But-
I tried putting that motherfucker in the like that was a full skull. So, like lessons learned. It's a story. Like, I shot it. Like, so I shot that red and a fallow and a Samba in the same paddock in one night, and that's just a fucking story. So everyone that goes out there that goes, oh, this is my first deer that I ever shot. First of all, anyone who's not a shooter will look at it on the wall and go, oh,
That's
fuck,
cool.
That's cool. And then you go, yeah, well, that actually is nothing compared to a trophy. But there is a story behind it. This is the first time I went out. This is the story of how that came about. And there is always a fucking awesome story behind it.
It's good to see your hunting progression anyway, Hayden, especially with your deer species. But something we ask all our guests is there a dream species and a dream location to hunt?
Well, after a recent offer, I've got a few more added to my dream hunt, which I don't want to disclose too much on that, but I touched on it before. Like I've always seen myself getting a decent bull tar. Like I really want to get myself a chamois. Like that's been something that I've always been real
A
passionate
chamois
about.
or a bull tar?
Both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a I don't know, it's a big trip, but I want to do all the crazy stuff in New Zealand as well. So I want to make like a big couple of weeks out of it. But then again, like a decent US hunt where clean up some bear would be amazing. Like that's because we got snakes and spiders and stuff here that can come for us, but other than that, we don't really have any.
Only apex, really.
Yeah,
there's no top of the chain.
Nothing. Like we're the top of the food chain, running around with a rifle. But they got wolf, they got bear, they got fucking mountain lion, they got coyotes. Like they got shit that'll come for you. Whereas like you have a fox come for you, like he might fucking nibble on your fingers if you're dumb enough to like wave him in front of his face. But like end of the day, you could smack him with your old 303 and fucking put a round into him, and like away you go. So there's nothing here that's going to come for you other than a snake. But then again, we have gators and we have stuff that can counteract like the issue of having snakes here. So
as in gators.
as in like gators, as in like for your legs, not as in like
leg wraps. No.
yeah, we
alligators.
I got me a crocagator.
Would you hunt gator in the States?
Oh,
you got to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that'd be.
I've eaten. So when I was in Cambodia, I was on a mission trip back in the day. That was a wicked mission trip, which I didn't even touch on. But yeah, we went to a barbecue place there, and we had gator. We had all sorts of other.
Is that the carnivore in Africa?
We were in Cambodia. We were in.
Oh, sorry. No, different.
man.
Whoa!
Different. Different continent. I was thinking something totally different there.
Just other side of the world, All right. Well, so we've covered the dream species and location. Where's your next hunt at?
So next hunt's back on a familiar property for all of us. I won't say it by name because no one ever shares their hunting spots. But I'm taking my partner out for her first hunt, so that should be pretty cool. She's super excited. So she grew up shooting foxes and rabbits like a lot of us did. So this will be her first game species. So she's pretty keen on getting a deer. Yeah, hopefully we'll clean something up because she, funnily enough, she did a typical me where I won't speculate specifics. So she said, "Oh, can I have some sausages and chops?" But she didn't like insinuate the some. She just like, "Can I have some sausages and chops?" Before I know it, she's like got a Coles bag at my freezer and she's put like 4 bags of chops and a few bags of snagged, and she's just like fucked off with like a whole heap of meat because she fucking froths deer. She's absolutely loving the venison.
Cool.
So it's pretty good. So yeah, she's real keen on her first deer. So I'm hoping that we can get her behind the rifle and up to some decent deer this weekend on the property because like there's only a couple of us going out. So obviously Ryan's going to come out one of the days as well. So hopefully he cleans up on one of the properties, one of the paddocks rather, and we clean up on the other. So ideally, if we can get 3 or 4 deer amongst us all, it'll be ideal. But I really want her to get behind something and then, yeah, get our mate Maddie to tan her skin so she's got something to remember for a lifetime from it because she's very keen because we're making a weekend out of it, heading down to Mount Gambier, pick up a new calf myself and then come back for a hunt. So making a decent weekend of this weekend.
What's the car you getting?
I'm getting a D22.
Oh, fucking oath you are.
Oh, funnily enough, I'm getting Poiters.
You already mentioned this.
I'm getting Poiter, his old car.
Nah, mate, there's nothing wrong with D22.
It's been through a few fingers over its lifetime. It's sitting about 340,000 Ks, but
Is that the same one that ran Caleb over?
It's been
I think that's run over a few blokes
been
now.
over a few toes.
But then again, it's one of the most reliable rigs out of everything that's here. It's got the high Ks. It's still working. So
The toe crusher.
yeah,
Mate, if you have to get a custom license plate that says the toe crusher.
I think that's too many letters.
yeah, that's way too many letters. Here in SA, you have a maximum of 9. So
No, you take out all of the
Vowels.
The vowels.
so you make it like TOKRSHR or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, toe.
And it's like
crusher.
the crusher.
Crusher. Yeah, just say it
that'll
like
work.
Or
just
like
special, like crusher.
TOWCRSHR.
Oh yeah, that works.
Because it's got 2 meanings.
So deep.
Mate, I'm a thinker.
But yeah, I'm pretty keen for this weekend because like ideally last hunt someone got a bit what do we want to call it athletic towards the deer. So I'm hoping this weekend we can be a little more methodical with our.
Well, you just got to get a deal with the missus before he gets there.
Yeah, well, look, I got a day before, but then again because there'll be 4. There'll be 4 of us hunting, so like we're not all going to be in the same paddock. Like if they're up that way at Jacob's spot and we're at say Overwatch, like we're going to be in completely different areas hunting. So if we're in different areas, it doesn't matter what old mate does. If he wants to run a marathon and scare all the deer off, he can do that while we're shooting them
Yeah, send Ryan to run after them and
Elsewhere.
chase them towards you.
elsewhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Then I can shoot him with my new 303 British SMLE. Oh.
Was it a Mark III?
Yeah, so I had so I'm a bit impulsive. So I bought myself the $300 303 British Lithgow SMLE that's been chopped up and bastardised. So
Sporterized.
no, bastardised. It's a bit different.
That's the official term.
Yeah, so look, if I can drop a deer with that, I'll be cheering, and then she'll be running my brand new Bagara with a nice scope on it, designed for long range. So
Is that iron sights with the slide?
yeah,
On
fucking
your
knows.
303?
Yeah, they're good for two Ks apparently, according to the iron sights. Good for 2Ks. So yeah, so like shoot, I've got dope for 600 meters happily with my 308. So you know, if it's more than 600 meters, I'll tell her to just put the scope rifle down and I'll crack it with a good old Enfield with the iron sights and show her how it's done.
Sweet. Sounds like it could be a good weekend. Hopefully. Good luck.
Cheers.
I need 2 freezers fillers, man.
Yeah, look, if we can clean up a couple of deer, then yeah, you know, I'll send one your way and you
Just not
What do you
fawns.
do with all the deer and lamb that you picked up?
Eating that.
So you human consumption.
Josh's diet consists of meat and protein.
Meat and digestive
Look,
biscuits.
settle down, Mr. fucking spinach and kale over here. Like some of us actually eat meat.
I mean, I'm dieting.
Nah, just, yeah. No, one actually, I said I'd give my neighbour some deer.
Was that the whole deal?
No, not the whole deer, but we'll go through a deer in
Well, look,
few weeks. But
I've got a mincer and sausage press that just arrived that are brand new, ready to go. So same deal with those sheep. I've got 6 sheep to clean up in the next day or so. So
yeah,
hopefully make something of all of it. Because if we come back with a couple of deer, then making some more sausages. I've never had a complaint on deer sausages. I've had one person that said, "Oh, wouldn't eat that. No one else would." And then, he made a whole bunch of Coles barbecue sausages. They sat there. All the deer snags went. We had to put more deer snags on because I brought extras. So that was kind of like a fuck you moment with this guy that's just like, no one's going to eat them. And then they all disappeared because
They're amazing, man.
Because they're delicious.
yeah, look, I had one beef sausage just because there was leftover. Like there was heaps of those, and there was no deer left by that point. And I'm like, just to kind of humour myself and remind myself how shit they taste in comparison to like a nice tasting. Because then again, the beef sausages you buy, unless you're buying expensive ones with like gourmet flavouring, it has like shit. Whereas like our deer snags that we make, like we put nice seasoning in. Even without seasoning, you just put like a nice mint through it. It's a much nicer taste than just your plain old beef.
They're cleaner as well.
Yeah. Well, you know what's going in them as well. Like for instance, the ones I make myself, like I don't cut them with any pork fat or anything because I don't mind the gamey taste of deer. So my mince I do and my sausages I do myself, they're quite strong and flavoursome. But then again,
how do they handle up?
Yeah, I was going to
being
say,
dry?
do they come out a bit dry?
not really. It depends on how you cook them. Like for instance, if you cut up your sausages to check and they're completely like brownish coloured the whole way through, yeah, they get on the dry side. But if you cut them and they're still just ever so slightly pink in the centre, they're kind of like cooking meat medium rare. It's kind of like the same deal. Yeah. And then like 9 times out of 10, if you're putting it in a piece of bread, you're going to chuck some like sriracha or sauce on it anyways. And it's just like having a nicer tasting beef sausage. So
It's like having a tubular steak.
Yeah, I've got to do a run of sausages desperately, actually.
yeah, well look, if we
I'm on my out.
if we cut up these lamb the next few days, then yeah, we'll have like a heap of lamb mince and can make some sausages with that as well. But if not, I'm pretty keen to put it on the spit and do an AB day, like put some chips in the camp oven, do some hot chips, bit of garlic sauce, and yeah, get some ABs going at the farm. Like that would be a pretty good afternoon to me.
Let's do it. Let's make it more than an afternoon.
Yeah, let's still know another.
Weekend camp, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's an invite to you guys. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Thanks, mate. Well, that's how a lot of our podcasts end, actually, with an invite somewhere. So I think if that isn't a natural pause, I don't know what is, mate. So you know how we roll.
Well, look, I'll give you guys a big thank you to having me on here because it's been a long time coming. Like obviously, I've been a big supporter since day one of you guys, so it's just nice to be on and have a
pleasure, man.
Have a chin wag with you on the record because we talk a lot of shit behind the scenes, so it's just nice to be here and it's good to be able to share my story.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on, and we should mention also that this is the last episode for season 4. Bit of a hiatus, so thanks again for listening to all of this season, and thanks to Hayden for being on. And we'll be back very soon.
Bigger, better, faster, stronger. Well, at least one of the 3 will be.
Well, on that note, we are also looking for ideas from our listeners for topic titles, but also people that you want to hear from. If you have someone in mind that you think we should try and get on as a guest, let
Trump.
us know. Trump.
Can I write
Obviously.
into our own podcast and ask for Trump?
Do it.
You can do whatever you want, Josh.
Whatever you want.
It's your
thank you.
podcast.
Let us
so-
know
Thank you.
on the Instagrams is the best way to contact us. Send it, mate, on the Instagram. Otherwise, we got Facebook. Tell your friends, tell your mum. Let us know what you think and feel and what you want. And we'll try to oblige.
I reckon you should try and get Grant Stevens on here and see what he has to say about the firearms branch. Ooh. That'd be a bit controversial.
Hey, why not?
Controversy.
I do wonder if people like that would come on the podcast.
Mate,
Look, it would actually be quite interesting because you could get a first-hand experience into not just being a police commissioner, but the firearms branch because that's what he ran for many years there. So it would be quite interesting if you could see if you could get someone that high ranking on.
If only we knew someone in the department.
if only.
Police department.
If only. Wow. All right. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to season 4 of Send It Mate podcast. Thanks, Hayden, for being on tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's wrap it there. Let's hit that beautiful outro. Listen to that Red Deer roar.
And stay keen for next season, you good motherfuckers.
Yes, we will be back.
Do what Josh says.
Lick a tit.
Fucking A. Get some fucking wind up here.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next season.
Catch you next season.
Toodles.
G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses high caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.